Hello and welcome to the Top Corner Festival of Football 2020 live. We are back and what a night we have in store for you. Dreamers could come believe us tonight in our first quarter-final fixture from the depths of potentially getting knocked out in the group stages. Atalanta are in an incredible quarter-final fixture against a side that haven't played in months, and that, of course, is PSG. It's going to be a great game of football. It's attack versus attack. And as you can see from that lineup there from Atalanta, it's going to be a great game of football. Joining me tonight for this game is Kieran L. Welcome to the stream, buddy. How are we doing tonight?
I'm absolutely fantastic. I'm bloody roasting, but I tell you what, I hope things heat up on the pitch rather than in my bedroom tonight. So I'm looking forward to it because it's two teams that love to attack. Defensively a bit shaky. So inevitably it's going to end 0-0. Thank you for joining us today.
I hope not. I mean, we've been dubbing this game up for a long time. This is, I think, the fixture that a lot of us looked at when it was originally drawn out a couple of weeks ago, and we said that this one should have goals in it. Now, of course, unfortunately, no second leg in this one, which would have been amazing because the first leg for Atalanta, the second leg against Valencia, did end 8-4. So God knows what would have happened when they played PSG. But it's going to be a great game of football tonight, and it's going to kick off in just above 10 minutes time. We've already got people in the stream. Welcoming, good evening. Bear Loves Booktube says, good evening from Bucharest, Romania. Match of the day, Atalanta, Bergamo, PSG in quarterfinal of Champions League. It absolutely is indeed, Bear Love. Welcome to the stream. And once again, thank you so much for joining us today. So as I said, over the next 10 minutes, we're going to look through the lineups of these teams. We're going to kind of talk through this game, talk through the potential stars of the match, the questionable decisions, including a certain injured player who's on the bench today for the away side, and a couple of other things as well over this kind of next 10 minutes before kickoff at 8 p.m. UK time. Now, it's very different because, of course, over the last couple of days, we've been watching the Europa League, and in that case, there's actually been two games going on. So it's quite good tonight for both kind of people to watch this game kind of together, and we can really watch this game. You know, if there's any controversial decisions, we can actually see what's going on, rather than, I know last week when me and you did that live watch along, I had to kind of search up on Twitter, considering those penalty decisions between Juventus and Lyon.
Yeah, just me going, Josh, at half-time, check this. This is disgraceful. Instead, we can agree together.
Exactly. And we're in sync as well, which means there shouldn't be anybody ahead. So it's going to be great to see, hopefully, some goals tonight. So I think the first starting point is to look at the two lineups of the teams on the pitch tonight, of course. There's two very noticeable players missing for both sides tonight. Josip Ilicic is out because of family issues, and no, it is not because he's left his wife or his wife has cheated on him. That whole thing that was kind of shared online isn't true. It is a completely different family matter that's going on in the background. As for PSG, certain play missing actually isn't missing because he's on the bench tonight. We'll talk about that in a little moment's time. So this is the lineup that, of course, I think you'd expect from Atalanta. Now, Ilicic is missing, as I said, because of family issues. And by the way, welcome in SDD YT. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. So Sportiello, he starts in goal today. Their goalkeeper previously has sustained an injury, picked it up towards the end of the season, but Sportiello is the chosen man in the back of the sticks tonight. Back three of Toloi, Caldara and Jamisti. There is no Palomino tonight in the starting lineup for them, unfortunately. But Jamisti has been great this season for Atalanta, so no doubt he'll be a fantastic player to go straight into the team. Midfield four, of course, they've got Hatibo on the right-hand side, Darun and Remo Freuler, who you might remember a couple of months ago scored an absolute screamer in that previous leg fixture against Valencia a couple of months ago, and we've also got Robin Gosens as well on the left-hand side of field, kind of Hatibo and Gosens working as full-backs slash kind of wingers. They're very, very adaptable players, which is awesome to see. They've got the attacking two of Alejandro Gomez and Paslic working as cams tonight, although it's very likely Paslic will drop down quite often to help out the midfield with the two kind of wide midfielders bombing forward. And then, of course, tonight up top, replacing Ilicic, although, to be honest, not really a replacement because all three of their strikers this season have done incredible. Duvan Zapata, Luis Muriel starts on the bench today. He could be a great replacement. He was Atalanta's top scorer last season. How much of a miss do you think Ilicic is going to be tonight for Atalanta?
Oh, I'd be lying if I didn't say it's massive. I truly believe you want PSG are a real powerhouse. As much as they, we joke about them sometimes, like, oh, they bottle it all the time. They are still a brilliant, brilliant side. And you need, when you're a team like Atalanta, you need to be at full strength. And without Ilicic, they are a much lesser side. Pasalic can only do so much. He is, as you say, a more of a centre midfielder rather than that out-and-out centre forward that Ilicic is. But as you say, the players around him have been firing. Papu Gomez has got so many assists. Zapata and Muriel have pitched in with really important goals this season. So he'll be missed, and it may be a very crucial miss, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, Zapata and Muriel have been scoring goals, but he is a very important player to the club, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. He's that experienced man that the club will desperately be missing right now. And of course, it's a real shame that he isn't available for the tournament altogether. As I said, family issues in that respect, which is a shame for him. And I think Belov's kind of put it perfectly. Atlanta playing in 4-3-3, sometimes in 4-5-1. It's a very dynamic formation. This is probably going to change quite a lot throughout the night. They'll play 5 at the back. They'll stay 3 at the back. They can go 4 at the back sometimes if they need to. But we will see, as I said, those wide midfielders in Gosens and Hatibo are bombing up and down the field. In fact, Gosens got, I think, nearly 10 goals and about 7 or 8 assists in Serie A last season, which is incredible considering he can play as a left back as well. So that is the Atalanta lineup starting off at the home side tonight, of course. The away lineup is looking like this. Now, there's a couple of interesting things. It should be a 4-3-3 tonight, but I have seen other certain websites saying it's a different formation, which I don't believe it is. It should be a 4-3-3. Navas in goal, of course. Navas been fantastic since he joined from Real Madrid. A back 4 of Juan Bernat, Kimpembe, Silva, and Thilo Kehrer is playing at right back tonight. Of course, usually a centre back. So we have 3 centre-backs on the pitch. But technically, it's 4 centre-backs because in midfield we have Idrissa Gueye and Ander Herrera. Doesn't seem like we hear that name often at PSG this season. He's in the team, but in the middle, and he's been playing there a lot quite recently for PSG before the COVID break, of course. Marquinhos playing in a CDM role. It's something he's kind of adapted under Thomas Tuchel in the last couple of months. And then up top, they've got Neymar on the left-hand side, Pablo Sarabia on the right-hand side, and of course, now Edinson Cavani has left the club. He's not available to play for PSG. Mauro Icardi, who's just joined quite recently permanently from his loan deal at Inter Milan, starts up top. Now, other formations that came out were saying that actually Marquinhos was playing left back tonight and Bernat was playing as a left mid with Neymar as a striker. Now, I don't believe that. I think it is a 4-3-3 they're playing tonight, but of course, we will see in game whether they're going to play 2 up top with Icardi and Neymar as strikers and Sarabia as a cam, or they go for that 3 up top. Now, the other player that's missing, as I said before, is Mbappe. Now, he's actually available to play tonight. You might be watching on BT Sport or on other apps and seeing him on crutches. Apparently, Thomas Tuchel has said tonight he is available and he can play for around 30 minutes if they need him. Do you think that's the right idea? We've seen it with a couple of other players coming on for short stints. He had a really bad injury a couple of weeks ago that's potentially kept him out of this game altogether. Would it be the right decision to bring him on, or would it just be safer to not play him today, Kieran?
I think it'll be, in terms of Tuchel's eyes, it'll be score dependent. I really do believe that. I think he will try and hold off for as long as possible. So if they can race into, a 2-0 lead with 20 minutes to go, I don't even think he'll bring him on at all. I think he'll save him, maybe bring him on, to waste time, in added time, just to get him moving on that injured ankle. But with this PSG lineup, I don't know about you, Josh, I'm confused by this midfield 3 because I don't see the creativity. I see Herrera as a box-to-box mid, Gueye wins the ball back, and Marquinhos is a centre-back. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sarabia does drop a little bit deeper to pick up the ball and create some opportunities for that front two. I just thought it was really, really strange with 3 not very offensive midfielders.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why potentially it could be right. As I said, I've seen some places saying it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 tonight. In fact, I've got it up right now, the system I'm seeing. Apparently, it's a 4-4-2 now they could be playing tonight. So Bernat would be playing as a left mid rather than a left back. Of course, we know he's a very attacking fullback. Herrera engaged the 2 midfielders. As I said, Marquinhos playing left back and Sarabia on the right with Icardi and Neymar up top. Now, we won't actually know what's going to happen with that until we see the lineup of players on the pitch. But as you said, they're lacking that creative midfielder in there. Looking at the benches tonight, so you guys know who could come on. They've got the likes of Leandro Paredes on there, Julian Draxler as well, who can play as much more of attacking midfielder / on the wings as well. And then other players do include Maxim Choupo-Moting, the striker as well. Colin Dagba's on there as well, fullback, if they do need to make any changes. And, of course, Kylian Mbappe as well. For the opposition side, on the bench, they've got Malinovsky, Ukrainian. He's been fantastic off the bench this season. And actually looking at it right now, Muriel is on there. Palomino is on the bench as well, with Timothy Castagna, the other Belgian fullback. So they've got quite a good amount of options for players to bring on. And a certain someone as well that I've just noticed out of the corner of my eye, Bosko Sotalo, Croatian defender, can also come on potentially tonight for Atalanta off the bench as well. That's kind of a hidden joke between me and Kieran in terms of Football Manager. Save that one.
It is unsuccessful loan spell, I've heard, in England. But
oh, God.
I tell you what, for any, we all talk, PSG is an embarrassment of riches. Like, it's so... We talk about all the money pumped in, they've spent it on the likes of, Neymar, and they bought Mbappe. For me, it's always a surprise that their bench is never the strongest. I always believe that they don't have that impact sub.
Absolutely, and a very good point Bell has actually made. Missed players for Atlanta, Gillini, the goalkeeper, of course, Ilicic. PSG, of course, missing Di Maria tonight, Kazawa and Verratti. Verratti not even in the lineup or on the bench. I think it's suspension, or it might be an injury that he's picked up. I'll try and find out in a moment to see why he's out. I think it's suspension more than anything. And of course, Belov has said as well, winner from this match will play semi-finals with Atletico Madrid or Leipzig. So attack v attack could be the next game turning into attack versus defence. Of course, Atletico Madrid the favourites to win that game. The game kicks off in 2 minutes' time. I want to kind of ask you, who do you think is going to win this game? It's a tough one to call, but have you got kind of a team in mind?
I think PSG. I think I'm a guy who I do love an upset. I think everyone is. The neutrals are always a sucker for an upset, and we love that fairy tale. So that's why everyone fell in love with Ajax last year. And I feel Atalanta has very similar traits in terms of they are so fearless going forward. They do not care who you are. They'll play their game. They'll impose their game on you rather than sitting back. I think we've seen that in European competitions, and then they eventually find their way through. So as much as I would love the Atalanta fairy tale to continue after nearly being knocked out after 3 match weeks, I just think PSG have got too much. We were talking before the stream. PSG have got to realise that they are shoo-ins for the final, as they are clearly the favourites on this side of the bracket. So I think they're going to view it as it's a must-win for them, but we've seen them bottle it before.
Absolutely, indeed. They've got to go and win this game. Chris is coming to stream. Highlights. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for joining us, Chris. How are you, buddy? Hope you're good. He says his prediction tonight, Atlanta 2, PSG 3. And this is Chris has put his prediction in the chat. Put your predictions in the chat as well, the scoreline. I'm going to ask you, Kieran, have you got a score prediction for this one?
Do you know what? This would have been a dream stream for Rowan, because he could have said 8-7 and we wouldn't have actually laughed at him for one. But I think I'm going to go... I think the game will get, so open, I'm hoping. I'm going to go with 4-1 to PSG. I think the game will get so 4-1. Spread open. Yeah, I really do.
Wow. I'm going to go for 3-3, going into extra time, and then PSG nick it.
Oh, what a tasty game.
I think we said at the start, before we start the stream, we said about this game, it's one of these matches where, you can make a very big score prediction in it, not look stupid, because these are two sides who are very attacking, a very good free-flowing football, and hopefully it does bring goals, because it'd be so disappointing tonight if we do come into this game and it ends like just a very slender 1-0 lead, or if it's a 0-0 draw. And I mean, extra time would be fantastic, or penalties, but it'd be nice to get some attacking football going in this match. Now, just looking at the lineups, it has been confirmed that they are playing a 4-3-3 tonight, PSG. Neymar, Icardi and Sarabi up top. Now, Atalanta's formation is a 3-4-3. So it isn't the two cams. It means Gomez is on the left-hand side tonight. Pasalic is a right winger, not a cam.
I won't be surprised to see them come inside, though, and drift inside. I feel like Gomez will be allowed to roam to wherever he feels necessary, because I feel like when you've got a player like that can create opportunities from nothing, you just allow them to do their game. You don't want to fix them to a role, because it's just not good enough for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that changing, but it's one of them. You see systems line up, and when the game starts, managers tweak all the time.
Yeah.
So.
It all depends on that kind of like first 5 minutes. What happens in the game? Who takes control of the ball? Bernaldo's in the stream says, "What's up, lads? It's apparently Neymar day, and all of social media has changed their photos to Neymar back at Santos."
I've seen Neymar at Everton. I've seen someone Photoshop Neymar's head onto an Everton. I feel like everyone's just Photoshopping Neymar to their club. and just so happy Neymar Day, I guess.
I mean, it's very coincidental that today is Neymar Day, considering tonight. It really is, I think, probably Neymar's biggest game at PSG since he's joined. The limelight is genuinely on him tonight to deliver. There's no Mbappe. Cavani has now left, so this is his game to really show what he can do. And hopefully, for him, he can take the game by the scruff of the neck on Neymar Day, as Ronaldo has said. And Ronaldo's put top memory.
Well, we know.
All right, they are about to get underway in this game. I'm very excited for this one. Very, very excited for this one. Of course, we're in Portugal as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because they're in Lisbon, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Oh, I forgot that it was being held in two different places. I forgot about that.
Germany and Lisbon, where the two kind of places are for these tournaments, and we are underway. Hopefully, we can have a goal in the first minute. That'd be nice.
I mean, what a start we'd have. I mean, you're asking for a lot here, Josh. I'm not going to lie to you, pal. You're asking for, just the odd first minute goal.
Happened in the Shakhtar game. You never know.
You did do the Shakhtar game, and you did also have a goal within. It must have been a couple of minutes, like 3 for it.
Yeah, I think it was about 2 or 3 minutes from a set piece. It was crazy, actually. Chris, I personally think Atletico will reach the final. It's a good question to ask that. Has anybody's opinions kind of changed throughout these couple of games on who you think is going to make the final? Because I know a lot of people will have looked when these draws originally took place and maybe had one specific team that they were looking at. I think there'll be a lot of people who might have said Juventus, at some point. Has anybody's opinions kind of changed in the chat from who you thought was going to win to, maybe you're thinking now City might win it?
I said Juve, so I was wrong. But for me, I feel Atletico would really frustrate PSG. Like they are their worst nightmare. Whereas in this game, they can kind of go blow for blow, and that's always been PSG's style. I mean, look at the tie with Barcelona where it ended some silly amount on aggregate, which it never should have ended. But whereas a team that will really stay compact, you've got to cause them to find the gaps. I think that'll really benefit Atletico Madrid, and I love their style of play. So,
I think the thing is, once again, it's another thing we said off stream. I think there's a lot of people out there who don't like Atletico Madrid's style, but the thing is, it has now worked for 7-8+ years since Simeone, I think, joined in 2012. 8 years, and it's still working a charm.
Exactly.
It just proves, how good tactically wise he is, because I think he's one of those systems he's got where you could probably tell what he's going to do, yet nobody seems to be able to fully stop it. And they always grind out these, important 1-0, 2-0 tight wins year on year.
I will always fight Simeone's corner as an extremely underrated manager because he's never had the riches that other clubs have had. Yes, they spent a lot of money on João Felix, but Atalanta come forward. Good save early from Taylor and Navas.
Well, we could have had a goal in the first 2 minutes, not the first minute.
Yeah, really nice hold up from Zapata. He sees that run from midfield from Gomez, who's really good at making runs beyond the striker. He strikes it with the left foot across Keylor Navas, but Keylor Navas equal to it. I was going to say, just on Simeone, is that he made, I don't want to say made Godin, but not many people had heard of how good Godin was until Neymar breaking through. I apologise. I can't get the Simeone point, but he's freaking right through the middle.
He's bombing through. Surely it could be one. Oh, wow. Oh.
I tell you what, he must have seen Neymar Day in bright lights. Mbappe looks shocked, and trust me, I am too.
Do you know what? It reminds me of the Neymar meme when he's got his hands on his head. It's now Mbappe doing it as well. That is awful.
It was all his own work. From literally, he picks it up with the ball in his own half. There's a miscommunication between the centre-back and the striker, and he keeps running on forward from the halfway line. And that isn't even close as he bears down on goal.
The thing is, he's got so much time. If you're not watching the game, he's got, I would say, at least about kind of 2-3 seconds there. He's in the box. The goalkeeper's only just coming out as he's gone into the box, and he's got so much time to strike into the back of the net. And it's a terrible, terrible miss. And Alexis, welcome to stream, says Ilisic's playing. He's not available in the Champions League because of family issues. Bellover's put Atalanta's last match when losing game without scores. It was November 2019 with Cagliari at home in Bergamo. That was a 2-0 loss.
So
I think they will score tonight. I think they will score tonight.
I do.
I think if you're a betting man, this is one of those games where you could probably put all your money on both teams to score, and it will probably come in. As you said before,
the odds would be like 1 to 8.
Yeah, oh yeah, it'd be terrible odds. But as you said before, coming back to that point about the midfield, I think it's one of the positions that for years now, especially in the Champions League, there's been so many people saying they lack an attacking, creative midfielder. Yet we're now going into another game, a big match for PSG where there's no attacking midfielder in there.
No, Verratti. 1 second. Let me finish. Verratti has been world class for many years, but Verratti is such a specific type of player. He's not going to break lines from midfield. He's not going to make runs beyond the likes of Cavani. So I don't remember the last attacking midfielder they had that, like, Sarabia is okay, Draxler's okay, but none of them are really, star-studded creative midfielders.
I think we're probably going back to potentially Pastore when he was back there a couple of years ago as being a kind of a creative midfielder, and ever since then, and it wasn't ever anything special for PSG. But in terms of an attacking outlet, I don't think they've ever kind of replaced him fully. I mean, you could say Draxler to a certain extent,
and that's the thing. PSG have always been attacking. They're mind-blowing. It's just that midfield where they've got. I mean, they've added it a little bit with Idrissa Gay, like some real grit in the midfield. But then they need another. It's amazing because they spend so much money, but they still need a lot of improvements. I feel, which is really strange for a team that has bucket loads of money.
Yeah, I think they've got a similar issue to City, to be honest. The fullbacks are very, very weak. I mean, you can see tonight in terms of the lineups, Taylor is playing right back, which, of course, if you don't know, he usually plays as a centre back, not a right back. He can play there if he needs to. But you look at two fullbacks tonight, Taylor on the right hand side, Juan Bernat on the left hand side. They're very attacking, but when you compare them to other big European clubs, you're looking at Barcelona, they've got Jordi Alba, Bayern Munich's got Alaba when they need him to play there, and Lucas Hernandez and
Alphonso Davies.
Exactly. They've got top quality fullbacks, and I think PSG missed out on that.
I completely agree. I feel like we talk about, like, if we could create a European super team, I don't think Thiago Silva is the only person I can think from that defence or midfield that would get in even on the bench or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so strange.
And even now, actually, talk about Thiago Silva. This will be his last couple of games for the club. Of course, he's leaving at the end of the Champions League campaign. He was, of course, including Edison Cavani. There was talks about him maybe leaving before the competition started, and the club said, we're going to keep him for the Champions League. Of course, he's got that vast experience at the highest level of football, and no doubt wherever he moves next, he will still probably be playing at the highest level of football at the age of 33, 34.
They did, and I feel like he's been one that is synonymous now with PSG. I feel like PSG's real burst has come a little bit later than other teams. I feel like you look back to the heritage of Barcelona and Real Madrid. I think PSG's is a little bit more revitalised more recently, but Silva has been in that team from day one, I feel, and he's just never left.
Well, that was the thing. He was kind of part of the beginning of the project for PSG when they kind of made the first big signings. It was Ibrahimovic, it was Thiago Silva, both coming in from Milan. And he's just a great veteran player. And there will be big clubs across Europe who will want to bring him in just because of his experience. And it'd be great to see where he goes. And as much as we're talking about a great experienced defender, of course, a great experienced attacker that's missing for PSG is Cavani. Of course, he's moving to Benfica next season. It's looking like going to be a great signing for them. And once again, he's been there for a couple of years now, played off the left for them when Ibrahimovic was there, then moved into the striker position, of course, PSG's all-time top goal scorer. Do you think he's going to be a big miss for them, or do you think Icardi can kind of step into his shoes?
I think when a player's been there for so long, as I feel like Cavani was, obviously he used to be at Napoli, but he really took his game to a new level when he went alongside when Ibrahimovic was there as well. So I think he will be missed because alongside that, he was a really experienced head. But I think a lot gets lost in Mauro Icardi because of his personality and, he's a little bit, what's the word? How can I say it? Like polarizing. There you go.
Yeah.
Polarizing. He can be a problem, but he is a world-class finisher, as Cavani was. So they will miss him, but I feel give Icardi time, and I think he'll get as many goals in league, and maybe a little less, but you know what I mean.
He's been scoring plenty of goals this season. Let's have a quick look at the chat, see what people are saying. Ray B. Cash, thank you for joining us. How to look at the live match from which channel? If you're in the UK, it's on BT Sport. If you're not in the UK, then I don't know which channel it'll be on. I'm not going to lie. But if you haven't got access to it, then welcome along to our live watch along. If you are new, of course, it'd be greatly appreciated if you do leave a subscription. We're one away from 650. We're going to be covering every single Europa League and Champions League game as we go along throughout the rest of this tournament. Belov's put Atalanta was in groups with Man City, Shakhtar and Zagreb, finished with 7 points and scores 8 goals. Obviously, it was such a tough group for them, and they made it through with those last 3 games remaining. As for the other group, he said PSG was in the group with Real, Club Brugge and Galatasaray. Won the group with 16 points and scored 17 times, of course. Finished at the top of the group. They were unbeaten against Real Madrid, of course. Real Madrid dropped points against Club Brugge in a 2-2 draw. And then lost to PSG 2-1 and a 2-2 draw, I think it was in the other game, against them as well. And Kieran James put up the Atalanta. I wonder who he's supporting tonight.
PSG.
I mean, this first 10 minutes has gone by. We had a very interesting first kind of 2 or 3 minutes with...
there's something interesting there. What a save by Kane. You were talking about chances, and Papu Gomez picks up the ball on the edge of the box. He's on the left-hand side. He chips it towards the back post where Hatiba was making an advancing run from that right wing-back position. He gets a header. He heads it into the ground, so it bounces in front of Keylor Navas, but it is a good height, and he pours it wide.
I tell you what, that was perfect timing.
It is, and the corner has been whipped in. Gay has cleared it. It's going to come back in, I think, by Gomez. Oh, my.
Oh, unlucky there.
Did your game freeze for a minute there?
Yeah, mine did. I thought I was a bit worried there. Maybe my stream had gone down, but no.
No, I was wondering because I was there, like, he kind of stopped running. I was like, is he all right?
They've all stopped for a second. I mean, we're seeing straight away in this first 10 minutes the 2 wide midfielders in Gosens and Hatibo, how they work attacking-wise and defensively-wise. They're both quite tall as well, actually.
Yeah, Hatibo. And I tell you what, it's back in. What a brilliant save.
Wow.
That is. He was offside, but he was not to know that. And Keylor Navas is the hero again. And I'm just going to try and get a replay because that was a beautiful diving save to the left. Real good reflexes. The corner came in. It's headed out. Is it headed back in? And then De Roon. Oh, no, it's not De Roon. It's Caldara that tries to head it towards goal.
Well, I tell you what, I know it was offside, but it's a fantastic save. You can see, look at how Caldara, I know it's a situation where he's offside, but he's not getting marked. The players are ball watching. He tries heading it with the back of his head, of course. He's got no chance of trying to turn his body around to go for it. And it's a great save from Keylor Navas. Drop down, punches it away from his goal. But, of course, as you said, offside. 12
Absolutely brilliant. I remember when Real Madrid were looking for a goalkeeper, Keylor Navas, I felt a bit bad for him because he'd never done really anything wrong. In a Real Madrid. It's good to see him at PSG really standing out as a great start to this game.
I mean, I think PSG for a couple of years now have been missing. That's another position they've missed, the goalkeeper. Of course, they brought Buffon in last season, but he wasn't the greatest of spells. Oh, by the way, we've just hit 650 subscribers. So for everyone that's subscribed, thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. You can have the Gareth Bale heart. Thank you so much.
Have a popcorn chicken on you. Thank you.
Thanks, lads. And women, of course, as well. We can't be subjective there, but thank you so much for all the subscribers. Greatly appreciated. And that's a position they've been missing out on for a couple of years now because Buffon came and he struggled. They had Sirigu kind of as the leading goalkeeper, and then he left. And since then, they've not really had a big goalkeeper. And for years now, Keylor Navas has been fantastic.
I don't know if you was here during the Eintracht Frankfurt stream or it might have been Kieran, but we talked about Kevin Trapp, had a really unsuccessful spell at PSG, and now he's revitalised his career elsewhere in Germany again. So it is that thing, and I think, is it still a loan for Keylor Navas? Because I know Areola was involved and there was some
I think it's still a loan deal, but I think there was an option in there to buy, which I would assume PSG will make a move, because I'd be very shocked if they say no to him, because he's been great goalkeeper this season for them. I mean, I can remember right at the start of the season, I know it's kind of basing it off of FIFA and that, but he was putting great performances in, and he was getting lots of inform cards on FIFA. I think he was getting a couple of Player of the Week awards as well in Liga and in general. So he's a good goalkeeper for him. Really good.
Neymar does brilliant. There's a skip pass too, and Herrera plays the ball on to Icardi, who finds himself wide right, but the cross is blocked and it'll go out. I tell you what, Neymar on the ball, sometimes he is truly magical. He really is. And again, a bit like Icardi, behaviour-wise and, kicking up a fuss, he's not the best. But on the ball, there's not many more that are better than Neymar.
Absolutely. I think it's the one thing that I said earlier about him always being in other players' shadows, but this is the game. He's got to really prove himself tonight. And I mean, that first opportunity in that kind of second or third minute was really, really poor. And I guess he's getting back into the game of football in general for PSG, because they'll have played a couple of friendlies before this, but they're not necessarily competitive. And their last game before this, which was competitive, they had that Coupe de France final. But since then, it was, I think, March time when they played in Liga. And so it's getting back into the gist of it again. While Atalanta, their last game would have been about 2 weeks ago on the final week of Serie A.
Yeah, there's a massive... We spoke about it, I think, on the podcast multiple times about the French teams coming back and it being a bit more difficult for them. But I don't think we'll see the influence of it yet. But if it goes to extra time, we'll see how the Atalanta fitness levels stack up.
Absolutely. Going to have a quick look at the comments, see what people put. Alexis put, any team that has Mario Kart is screwed by karma from ever winning anything. PSG have a team that never ever faces any pressure in their league. They come to the Champions League woefully unprepared psychologically. It's a good point. I think Rio Ferdinand, I was watching beforehand, had said because their league is so easy for them to win, whenever they tend to win the Champions League, games always come as a shock to them because they're just not at the same standard as the big clubs.
I mean, that's why we rarely see teams from the likes of Portugal, Dutch apart from Ajax last year, but their league is underdeveloped. Not that the French league is underdeveloped, but there is just a lack of challenge. So the culture shock coming into these competitive games is massive for teams like for PSG, and it's not the same as facing Amiens every week.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because it's just the riches that PSG have got. It's so hard for other clubs. I mean, you think about Liga, there's some big clubs in there. You've got Marseille, you've got Lille, you've got Bordeaux, and other big clubs like that in the league of yesteryear, and they just don't have the money like PSG, which is why it's so hard. I mean, I think the last time we had a challenge was when AS Monaco won the title a couple of years ago, and of course since then they fell off the cliff as well, and it's just been a walk in the park every year for PSG. Yeah.
I remember Montpellier won it, but when you're looking at, they are serial title winners. And it's one of them things as well, you'd think they're used to winning. So maybe get games like this, that they're used to winning trophies, but it's never the big one at PSG, is it? It's never been the Champions League. So I think they want to win it for the first time, especially Thomas Tuchel as well, with the way they went out. Was it last year against Man United, or was it year before?
I think it was last year when they went out to... Yeah, last year.
It's so long. It
does feel like ages ago.
Yeah, so, he wants to right the wrongs. I think that's a lot of PSG's past, though, isn't it? With Barcelona and then with United. And it's like, I think tonight, and it's a beautiful ball from the midfield to Neymar's got acres of space in behind the defence. It's on the left-hand side. Oh, it's awful.
That is really, really poor. He's on the left-hand side. He's bombing down once again. It's not necessarily a similar situation before where he was in the middle of the field. He's on the far left-hand side, and he's pretty much past all four of the defenders. He kind of moves into the box. I think he should have actually taken a little bit more time to get into the centre of the field and cross that in. His distribution in terms of crosses and shooting right now in this first 20 minutes has been really, really poor. And of course, I'm not backing him up here, but I guess for him as well, it's probably just a lack of playing time for these sides.
It's a lovely 1-2 between him and I think it might have been Herrera in the midfield. It was an absolutely beautiful 1-2 to create the space with the running behind. But also, I don't know if he was maybe torn in two minds. Did he want to shoot with the left? Did he want to go with left? I've got to admit, Mauro Icardi's movement wasn't brilliant. Yeah, so I don't want to put all the blame on Neymar, but he did seem caught in two minds whether to cross or shoot.
I think Icardi was just trying to stay on the side because I think he was in such an awkward position there on whether Neymar was going to pass it in, and then the linesman flagging it off for offside. And I guess you are right in a sense. He's got to make a very quick decision. I think at the time he's probably thought, I'm going to cross it into him, but Icardi's movement probably wouldn't have got to him anyway, so it's probably just better going for the shot. Let's have a quick look at the comments, see how everybody's going so far. Alexis says Atalanta play like PSG, except without the same amount of talent. They don't have nearly as many spoilt brats. Liga has more exciting young players than any other top 5 league. I agree with you on that one. But no team comes consistently together because all the talent gets poached by either PSG or a different big club. Their national team is the best in the world. It's an extremely talented league with a lack of structure.
Very good point. And it's also kind of the same problem in Germany. Every team's a selling club but Bayern Munich.
It's getting lofted in. Oh, good chance. Straight into the hands of Keylor Navas. But yeah, it's the problem, isn't it? They've got great players, not just in France, but in Germany as well. I mean, you look at young French players right now. I think one of the biggest standout players in Liga for a young star, of course, is Mbappe. But if we're talking a bit lower, Camavinga, the midfielder that was linked with a move to Real Madrid. Of course, congratulations to Stade Rennes last night for getting a Champions League group spot. Which is fantastic for them, and they'll be quite an interesting side to watch next year. But he'll probably get snapped up by a big club.
They'll be like Lille of this year. I think Lille put a really poor performance in the Champions League. I felt a bit bad for them because I personally believe they were better than what they showed. Obviously, they lost Nick Pepe, who was their real talisman, but I do believe they were better. But I like to see newer teams coming in every year. Like Atalanta, isn't this their first campaign?
Is indeed debut season. Oh. Good clearance.
I mean, we've seen Wolves, their debut season, fantastic, and Atalanta doing the same.
It is nice to see. I think Stade Rennes will probably do a lot better than Lille. Of course, they had all the talent, like big players, poached, and it was a real shame for them. And I think Rennes will give it a good go next season. It'd be good to see him, of course. It's always nice to have a new team in there. Alexis put about Neymar. He says, Neymar's key problem is that he lacks motivation. Once he realised he will never be better than Messi or Ronaldo, it's like he decided to put his flip-flops on, make a lot of money and relax. And that shows in matches like these, he lacks the commitment and surgical precision you need as a top player.
I disagree. I think that's what fueled his move to PSG, was Messi and Ronaldo being in that league, so he can go and star elsewhere where he believes he could get maybe better stats. Because when you're in the same team as Messi, you are going to be in his shadow, of course. But I feel he wanted to be somewhere else where the spotlight was on him to really shine as a player. And then Mbappe came along and shined more than he did. So I don't think it was that quite lack of effort, if you know. Do you know what?
It's just very unfortunate circumstances because it's one of those things where no one would have ever expected Mbappe to have become as good as he is. I think even Mbappe himself probably never expected to be as good as what he is.
He's a teenager.
Yeah. We haven't had a teenager like this for years now where they're doing it at the highest level at 18, 19. We've had players come up at the age of 21, 22, still young, still fresh, and doing well in the Champions League. But I think in terms of a youngster, under 20, we've not had a player like this since. I mean, you could probably go back potentially to when kind of Alexandre Pato first came onto the scene. Maybe there was somebody before that.
He's had a very different career to Mbappe.
Yeah.
I do know what you mean. I mean, maybe Neymar when he was at Santos.
Yeah.
Because Neymar at Santos was unbelievable.
And to be fair, he did get that move, I think, quite early on. I think it was 21 or 22 when he moved to Barca. So you could say, I think Pato, around the same age as well, made a move on the scene, but there's potential chance here for PSG.
Skipped past two, and he crossed it in, but it's blocked, and it's back to him again, but he's cleared.
Atalanta seem very comfortable right now. We are 23 minutes on the clock. They've got to do a lot of defending, but they seem very, very comfortable defending right now. There's no rush to counter-attack. And when they are attacking, it's what you said earlier. They're playing this 3-4-3 formation, but Pasalic and Gomez are very, very free-flowing. In fact, we've seen Gomez on the right-hand side a few times. Then he's in the left, then he's in the middle. Is he very comfortable right now? He's
central now, and so is Pasalic. They're not, do you know what I remember when I was a kid, if you were a winger, get some chalk on your boots. Get some chalk. They have no chalk on their boots, I can guarantee that. But I think Neymar, for his bad decision-making in the final third, on the ball, he's been the best player on the pitch, and it's quite clear, because he's taking on 3 at a time, all the time.
I haven't seen really anything of Pablo Sarabia yet, and I guess it's probably not. It's a shame for him because he's playing on the right-hand side tonight, tends to play as an attacking midfielder, although he has played on the wings for a fair few games for PSG. But I haven't seen much of him so far. It's quite clear to see who they're directing the ball to tonight. Yeah, he is. He's the one that's going to make everything tick today without the likes of Mbappe or Di Maria. Sarabia is not a winger. We've also got to, credit him because he is playing out of position massively. But he's not really dictated the game at all, really. Yeah, I think it's very easy right now for Atalanta to just man-mark Neymar. I mean, they are struggling with it. He's getting through, of course, his pace and his skills. That's something you just can't stop with Neymar. The skills he brings out, especially his determination to pull them off as well. I think we've seen multiple times in Liga, and I can remember when somebody hacked him down, got a yellow card, and then straight afterwards he decided to just rainbow flick the ball to the player. He's just that type of player. Yeah, and that can be that'd annoy the crap out of me. I'm surprised that he didn't hack him down after that as well. Just take the red. The career's over. Potential chance here maybe for Atalanta, hopefully. 0-0, 25 minutes in. Hopefully we can get a goal soon. But it's a very tight affair, this one. It's fell to Mario Pasalic. It's 1-0. Oh, yes. And just as I say about a goal, Atalanta have delivered. And it's the Croatian midfielder. He's just joined permanently. I think it was Zapata just on the left-hand side of the edge of the box. I'm just trying to get a replay now. But what a curling effort from Mario Pasalic. Fantastic goal. Yeah, it was Zapata who he gets tackled by Kimpembe but flicks a foot out, and the deflection falls to Pasalic, who hits it first time. No saving that. On the right-hand side, left-footed, curled into the top corner of the PSG net. 1-0 Atalanta. It's absolutely outstanding goal. The problem for Keylor Navas is because he sees Zapata with the ball, he comes out of his goal a little bit too much, and by the time Pasalic has got the ball, it's a simple curling effort into the top corner, no pun intended there. And it's a lovely, lovely finish. Brilliant. Well done, Josh. Get in there, Josh. Do you know what? I'm happy. I think if I'm pro for a club tonight, I'm pro Atalanta. Although PSG on the attack here is lofted into the box, it could potentially come to. I think it's Pablo Sarabia just on the left hand side right now, and it's cleared away. And it could have been a very short-lived lead for Atalanta there with PSG on the counter attack. And I'm pro Atalanta tonight. I'm not going to be subjective and say PSG are terrible or downbeat their plays. If they're doing good, I'm going to say they're doing good. I am pro Atalanta. I'm going to stay. I'm going to be an unbiased journalist is what I'm going to approach this game as. I mean, it's such a lovely side to watch, but there's still time left in this game, and at least we've got the goal we wanted. Neymar, jinky pass 2-3. Oh, I thought that was in the back of the net then. Oh, that is what he brings. He got nutmegs Mario Pasalic. He cuts inside Caldara, cuts inside past Toloi, strikes with the right foot, but it's just past the post. Look at that nutmeg on Mario Pasalic, the goal scorer. Unbelievable. And that is the skill that this man possesses. I don't think the goalkeeper would have got to that. That would have probably snuck into the bottom left-hand corner. It's a great, great opportunity there for Neymar to take the lead, and Atalanta trying to come on the attack now. I mean, like I said, pot 4 team heading to the title. Go on, lads. I'd love them to win it. I would love them to win it, but there's a long way yet to go in this game. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's only the 28th minute in this, and Alexis put as well. Pasalic has had one of the most underrated seasons in world football, of course. As I said before, just joined from Chelsea permanently. Glad he moved because he was never going to get game time at Chelsea. He never really got a chance, so I'm happy to see it. And that's sadly the story of so many Chelsea players in the past. Luckily for him, though, he's found a home.
so he can start building his career here now.
It's an interesting one because you can look at it in two ways and say, the way that you said he will never play for Chelsea. But then if you look at it on the other hand, it does prove that Chelsea's ridiculous loan system does work at times. He's gone out there to Atalanta. He's done fantastically well. I think they sold him for about 25 million euros, got the cash for him. And of course, they'll probably bought him for pennies years ago.
Yep. That's exactly what they do. And it's very smart. The thing is, I remember Papi Gilabodji played one game for Chelsea and they made profit. It's like, what a bizarre system. But it works. And the real cream of the crop, they keep for themselves. Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Fakao Tomori. So they keep them ones for themselves while bringing in exports and selling them for profit. And I know we see Chelsea spending a lot of money this summer. I wonder how much that was made from selling talent that they loaned out for years.
Well, that's the thing. There's endless names in there. There was Kennedy, Lucas Piazon, Van Ginkel. I mean, of course, there's always, for every good one, there's always going to be a bad one. I mean, you can look at players like Baba Rahman. They struggled to get rid of him. Van Ginkel's been there for a long time now. Good clearance there from PSG. And they probably will sell him on eventually. But the amount of times that loan system has worked well is probably more than it has been bad.
Yeah, because even if they buy them for, I don't know, 500k, and then maybe it doesn't work out, but they still get 4 million, that's 3.5 million they never had. And they've never had to pay the wages because they've been out on loan.
Exactly.
So it is a really smart system. And I was watching a Chelsea fan's video the other day, and he said it was a signing for the loan army. So they admit they've got like a loan army of players. So.
And the thing is, as we said, it works a charm, and they will just continue to do it for years to come, unless some rules, take shape where it stops them from being able to do that, which I know there's been a lot of conversations about changes to the system so clubs don't just go out and buy players to flog them off pretty much. But as Alexis put, the greatest way to put it, Chelsea's loan system is the task failed successfully meme in real life.
Yeah, kind of. I can see that.
Half an hour into this, it's Atalanta 1, PSG 0. It's been a pretty interesting half an hour. There's been a fair amount of attacks. I wouldn't say it's been the most enthralling half an hour in the world, but we've had the goal that we wanted, and Atalanta just starting to get a bit of a feel for the ball now in this game.
I think, annoyingly, these two teams have been smarter than they usually are and decided defending is part of football, which is a real shame for us because we were hoping that it'd go wild, but Atalanta will be more than happy to lead 1-0 against a giant like PSG, and it makes for a very interesting second half if it stays this way. And they're doing it again. They're coming forward. Paslic, whoa! The 1-2 with Hatabauer didn't come off.
Oh, so unlucky there.
They're applying pressure, and this is what I said earlier about the fearlessness. They just don't care, and it's brilliant.
It's good to see. And I think we say it a lot about this tournament, of course. It's so important that this isn't two legs, because I think if this was two legs, and especially if they were playing at home, I think had they gone to PSG, they would, I wouldn't say turn them over, but I think PSG go back to their ground and get the win. While with this system, the neutral grounds, of course, play fitness is going to come into it, and it's going to be so crucial in this match. But it's been a very good start, very, very good start from them. And PSG have got to worry because on the bench, we talked about players on the bench. They've got Draxler, they've got Mbappe, who has been said he can come on for half an hour. But let's be real. As you said before, when Dybala came on for Juventus, if he picks up an injury and comes on, you screw yourself over then in that first instance. And in the second instances, they haven't really got any big players on that bench who can change the game up.
No, it seems like a smart decision at the time because you want to bring on your best players, but you're risking long-term problems for short-term. It might not even be a success because look at Juventus; they didn't even win the game, so they just injured Dybala, added a bit more time to his recovery, and didn't go through in the end anyway. So it's a real catch-22.
Exactly, and I think as well. I don't think Atalanta would usually do this, but I think in a game like this, you could quite easily go, if Mbappe was to come on, the manager to say, right, put those tackles in, really, not crop him down, but, put those tackles in, really go at him, try and see if you can not injure him purposely, but just make him struggle.
Just rough him up a little bit. Yeah, it's one of them, Josh. Let him know you're there. Let him know you're there.
Exactly. Got a free kick in for PSG.
There was a break by Sarabia down the left, wasn't there? He couldn't get the right crossing, but Idrissa Gana Gueye winning the ball back, earning a foul, it's what he's best at. What do you think in terms of like early changes? Do you think there'll be any sort of half-time changes, or you think just leave it till 60? That was the draw, by the way, not me that made that noise.
I think probably leave it till the 60th minute. I think Atalanta right now, they don't need any changes. As I said before, defensively wise, apart from Neymar, I think they look fairly comfortable. There doesn't seem to be any worry unless this free kick gets smashed into the top corner. Very typical.
Very similar position to where he had it when Barcelona played PSG. And obviously that went sailing into the top corner. He's had a brilliant night on the ball, but his final decisions, it was aiming for that corner.
He went for it. It was a good free kick.
He did, but Sportiello's equal to... I don't think there was enough pace to really worry Sportiello, even though he's not the first choice. I don't think he'll be letting goals like that go in.
No, I mean, to be fair, he's quite a decent second backup goalkeeper. Played at Fiorentina, joined them permanently. I think he had a loan spell at Atalanta as well beforehand. He's a decent backup goalkeeper, to be fair. But now that free kick hasn't gone in, I don't think Atalanta need to make any changes probably until the 60th minute if it stays like this. But for PSG, I think it'll probably be the 60th minute as well. If you're going to bring Mbappe on, you'd probably want to bring him on maybe with 15, 20 minutes left, so you're not just pushing him in at the deep end and saying, you've got to do all the hard work, because then the reliance will be on him to score.
Well, this is worst case scenario for PSG in terms of both, obviously, scoreline, but also they just wanted to be, anything for an easy ride tonight, just so they could keep their best players healthy. Icardi does skip past a player there, but he stood down in the first yellow of the evening.
It's the right decision. It's a good. It's a tactical foul.
It is. Is that Raphael Toloi?
Yes, that is indeed.
It's not.
Jimmy Steve, my bad.
Yeah, it's all right. But very similar looking men. Did really well, baited him in, tapped it round him, and he just thought, I was just not going to let him get round him.
Yeah, we haven't seen a great deal of Icardi so far, to be honest. We are 35 minutes into this as well, of course. Another free kick for PSG in the attacking half of plays. Probably it's going to get whipped in this one. Maybe an opportunity for one of the defenders to kind of head this into the back of the net. But we haven't seen a great deal of Icardi so far in this game. He's been very quiet.
He has. Neymar over the free kick. You see the men in the box. Not a very tall pair of centre-backs in Thiago Silva and Marquinhos, but the ball is in. It's floated to the back post where I think that's Sarabia or Herrera, Hans Sportiello gathers.
It's a poor crossing there. Do a little bit more height on that. Get it over the goalkeeper. Maybe there could be someone at the back post. Just looking at the replay now to see if anybody kind of was kind of there. You can see Icardi at the back post. His movement on the ball there. He's not bad trying to push towards the front of the goalkeeper, but it's a simple save.
Yeah, he's just trying his best, but... And it's, Sportiello.
Taking too much time on the ball there. You've got to watch out. Those little mistakes going to come back to cost him.
It's good, and you want to see Neymar pressing like that as well, because we talk about sometimes he doesn't seem bothered. It seems like he's really on it tonight. Yes, the shot earlier should have scored. The pass earlier should have been better at least. But, I'm seeing some positive things from the Brazilian superstar.
He's definitely up for it. You said before he's been the best player on the pitch so far, and I agree. He's just these little chances might just be kind of warming him up in this game, and hopefully maybe he can get a couple more opportunities to try and stick one in the back of the net, because he looks hungry tonight. He looks very hungry to prove himself, and of course I think there'll be a lot of PSG fans out there who will be praying that he can be that man tonight to deliver.
When we talked about it though, like, meant to deliver. I'm looking around the pitch and I'm not seeing that midfield, unless you want Idrissa Gana Gueye to deliver, and he might hit a 40-yard rocket, but I doubt it. Very strange.
I think we might see Draxler If he does stay like this, we might see Draxler come on in the second half, maybe take off, an Ander Herrera. So you've got the two defensive players and the one attacking. Bring somebody on who can sit in that midfield and kind of push forward, be the creative guy that they need, because they're not doing too bad, actually, to be honest, in this first half in terms of getting the ball into the front three. They're doing all right, but I think there needs to be someone else in there that can just be that extra man to be creative, because, as you said, the midfield three right now is a bit too defensive.
Yeah, I don't remember them having a decisive chance apart from the Neymar ones, really. It's all being played at middle at park, unless when Neymar breaks the lines, and that's about it. But Atalanta, they don't have to press as much as they did in the opening stages. I think they're more than happy to just keep control of the ball and slow the pace down, which is not what Atalanta usually do.
Well, this is what I think. Oh, there's no chance there. I thought maybe there was an opportunity for Atlanta to go for a goal. I think, looking at the lineups tonight, I think PSG didn't expect how Atalanta have come out tonight. We expect Atalanta to be this free-flowing, fast-attacking team. Of course, they've scored so far, but they're taking their time on the ball. They're not rushing for goals. There's no emphasis on, once we have the ball in defence, do the quick passes that we expect from Atalanta to go into the attack. I think PSG expected tonight, hence why they've got the three defensive midfielders for that to happen, which is why I think we'll see the attacking change in the second half.
Be interesting to see if Sarabia held his line there. I think Neymar released it a little too late, but it's a beautiful cross, and there's only one man in the box.
It's poor.
And he missed it.
It's poor. He's poor. He's frustrated with himself, and he's absolutely right to be frustrated because he's had a poor first kind of 40 minutes in this game. His movement has been a bit lackluster. He's had one or two small opportunities maybe to get back post headers or balls crossed into him, but it's not what you want right now. They don't look tired, PSG, but it clearly looks like they've not played for a couple of months, and it's just poor. I don't know what it is.
I think it's one of them. They're not all on the same page. They've not been able to drill this for weeks, and maybe a bit of movement they did once in a game and they can recreate it. It's not that. I think you can only do so much on a training pitch, and you can't reiterate game speed on a training pitch. But that's a terrible back pass, and Neymar's through 1-on-1 with Sport. That's awful.
He's so poor. What is Neymar doing there? I tell you what. He's had a good game. He's doing all right, but it comes to the final third, and his passing and his shots have been so poor. It's a poor back pass. Neymar, he gets onto the ball. Sportiello comes out of his goal. He rushes back. Neymar is towards the left-hand side, not even the centre. He's at the left-hand side in the box. He takes the shot. He's trying to curl it into the back of the net, and it's just poor miss. He's nowhere near the goal. It goes out of play, and to say he's been the best player on the pitch tonight, it just proves how poor some of the PSG players have been.
Yeah, and that whole sequence was absolutely horrific. Give Hatibauer a doctor's jacket, because that was an absolute hospital pass back to Sportiello. And then Neymar came in, and just, I don't know what's wrong with him tonight. Usually he'd finish that in his sleep, but he played it over.
I don't know whether he's not even rushing into the shots. If you're not watching this game right now, and you're kind of watching us to get a bit of the detail of what's going on, he's not rushing his shots tonight, Neymar. He looks calm. That's the thing. But his ability with shots and crosses have been so poor so far, and the amount of possession he's had on the ball and opportunities, he's got to do something soon, because I tell you what, time is running out. The first half, we've got a couple of minutes left. We've not had any drinks breaks, so there won't be a great deal of additional time. They're going to have a big team talk from Tuchel. And
as no surprise, Neymar has been fouled a lot tonight, because he's not, as you say, he's not had a bad game. It's just that last ball, and it was released on the right to Thilo Kehrer, and that is the cross of a centre-back, because he hits it as hard as he can, and it flies over every single person in the box. The thing is, PSG, arguably, better offensive side, but really struggled with final ball and finishing, which is not like PSG, because they can really be deadly when they want to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely indeed. Just looking at the comments right now, talking about Pasalic, the goal scorer. Belov put Chelsea by Pasalic from Hajduk Split in 2015. He was on loan 5 times. Elche, Monaco, Milan, Spartak Moscow, and Atalanta before, of course, moving there permanently. Bembo Gaming, welcome to stream, buddy. Hope you're all good, pal. He says, imagine Atalanta win the entire tournament. It's possible. I mean, I think it would be the first time in history the club who's debuted in the Champions League has won it. Crazy story if that was to happen. But, I mean, it's a crazy story anyway. They're 45 minutes away here from a semi-final in their debut season. And Chris put, sorry not being commenting, Caravan Park Wi-Fi is shocking and used all my data up, so got no choice with this Wi-Fi. Can't be worse than Virgin Media. I
was going to say that. I hate that when you get that message saying you got 20% of data left. You just don't know what to, there's too little data, not enough time. But Neymar fouled again. He has a free kick on the right-hand side. Whips the ball in. No one gets on the end of it. I thought Marquinhos had. But he didn't quite get there. And we are creeping up to 45. Josh, how much do you think added on? It's got 2?
I'd probably say 2 minutes.
It's been not many stoppages at all, which is good, apart from the continuous fouling of Neymar Jr.
To come back to another point you said earlier as well, PSG, they've struggled with set pieces tonight. They've had a good amount of free kicks in areas that can be crossed into the box for the defenders. When you actually look at the team on paper, there isn't anybody really there who is, of a great height, who can, use his height to get on the ball, be at the back post, get a header in. I can't think of anybody really. I mean, Kimpembe, probably the tallest player on the pitch, 6'2". Apart from that, they are missing the height in their players, of course. Another player, actually, we forgot to say about who's not with them anymore is Thomas Meunier as well, the right back who's now at Dortmund.
Of course, very tall, probably taller than most of the back four, but it's another yellow. 1 minute added on, and we're 30 seconds into that, but it's another foul by Atalanta. Really are being nitty-gritty, and it's Romo Frula, the Swiss international, with the booking. And that's an awful ball by Neymar into the hands of Sportiello, and that'll probably be enough for the first time.
That pretty much sums the first half up, Kieran. It's been really, really poor from PSG. They used the ball in the final third. To be honest, I'm not even going to say now Neymar who's been poor. The whole front three looks dire in terms of using that ball in the final third. Crosses have been poor. Movement, specifically from Icardi in the box, has been really poor. And Thomas Tuchel, of course, he's picked up an injury himself, hobbles into the dressing room for what is going to be a big half-time team talk, because right now, it's look comfortable.
Just quickly, Josh, before I go and get a beverage during half-time, I do want to ask a question. They exit tonight? Tuchel out?
No, I don't think Tuchel will get sacked. I think they believe in him, and I think he's got a project going which other managers haven't in the past. But if they potentially lose, I think there will be some fans that might call for it out.
Because we have seen the likes of Unai Emery. I know that it was a more drastic fall to Barcelona, but then you look last year and PSG should have beat Man United. I mean, they're a better team, but that was just a capitulation again, year after year. And tonight they've got a favourable draw. We know the likes of Atalanta, but from a neutral's point of view, it's arguably one of the weaker teams left alongside Lyon. So we know with these big teams, it's Champions League or bust. Same at Juventus. Look at Sarri, wins the league, Champions League exit to a shock exit, out. So I do wonder whether Tuchel will be out, but I am going to go get a beverage. I hope you don't mind.
That's all right. That's all good. Just have a look at the comments right now. It's half-time of this game. Atalanta 1, PSG 0. If you haven't watched the game, it's been a very, very tight first half. PSG have had a good amount of possession and phases of attacks, but they've not used them to the greatest potential that they could. Of course, final third has been really poor with Neymar, Icardi and Sarabi, but Atalanta, they have the lead in this game. But of course, we've got more games still to come on the channel in the next couple of days. You do not want to miss some incredible ties still to come. As you can see on the screen right now, of course, tonight we've got that Atalanta PSG game, so stick around. The second half will be in around 10 to 15 minutes time, of course. Tomorrow night, you can join Kieran L and Rowan. Of course, Kieran L on here tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow as RB Leipzig, they take on Atletico Madrid. It's attack versus defence this time in that game. They'll be live from 7:45 UK time, kickoff at 8 p.m. for those games. Then we're going on to the next match, the 14th of August. Of course, that is on Friday night. I'll be live with Kieran D, 7:45, of course, once again for the Clash of the Titans. Barcelona take on Bayern Munich. What a game of football that's going to be. Enthralling match on Friday night. And then Saturday night, the final game of the quarterfinals so far, Manchester City, they take on Lyon, kick off at 8 p.m. All those matches, you'll be available to join us. I can't talk tonight. It's so hot in the UK. From 7:45, with kick-off at 8 p.m. UK time. Of course, it's not just the Champions League as well. It's still going on. We have the Europa League 2, the two semi-finals. We know who is going to be in those games on the 16th and 17th of August. Sevilla take on Manchester United on the 16th of August. And that will be Kieran D and Rowan for that game. And then the day afterwards, it will be me and KL once again as Inter Milan take on Shakhtar. And that's on the 17th of August at 8 p.m. UK time. That's going to be two incredible games. And just very quickly, actually talk about the Europa League because we weren't kind of there. You weren't there, of course, for yesterday's games. Sevilla taking on Manchester United and Inter Milan taking on Shakhtar. Who do you see getting into that final?
As a fan of football, I want it to be United and Inter Milan. As a fan of football, because they are the two best teams, and you always want to see the best teams in the final. However, I have also seen a fact. Sevilla have won the competition the most times. Inter Milan, I think, have the most wins in the tournament of all time, I think, or something along them lines. They both have records. So that would be nice to see in the final. But as a football, and Shakhtar, I think we talk about Atalanta and we said their group on paper before the tournament, you would really unknown in terms of Zagreb. They're okay. Shakhtar never do anything, but they have really come to life in this Europa League. And last night, free-flowing best, destroyed Basel, as if, honestly, it was as if one team showed up and it was the team from Ukraine. But as a football fan, I can make... Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, it was a really, really good game last night.
Yeah, the Sevilla one wasn't. I was bored. But I can make a case for everyone, because any final will be, I think, a really good game. But as a football fan, United versus Inter Milan steals the mantle for me.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some former, of course, Manchester United players at Inter Milan, which makes that game even more exciting. You know, the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku, who are at Inter Milan right now, doing well in Italy, of course, Manchester United. It'd be a good game of football. Of course, Sevilla and Shakhtar as well. If they both got through to a final, that'd be an interesting game on paper. Two very, very good sides. Of course, Sevilla, as you said, have kind of won it, I think, 5 or 6 times. Of course, they won it a few years ago, 3 times in a row. It'd be a good game. So they're the semi-finals on the 16th, 17th of August. Only a couple more days to wait until those games. And of course, as I said a moment ago, we have our other games coming up in the next few days. And while we are at half-time, we've had the attack versus attack in the first 45 minutes of this game. Attack versus defence tomorrow night. RB Leipzig taking on Atletico Madrid. Of course, Leipzig without Timo Werner. He's now joined Chelsea in the Premier League. Atletico Madrid knocking out Liverpool in that previous game. Is it going to be a walk in the park for Atletico Madrid? Or do you think this Leipzig side are going to come out and really take on Atletico Madrid and put them to the sword?
I think we've seen a lot of Atletico Madrid. Nothing's a walk in the park this season for them. They have a style of football which rarely a game where they blow a team out of the water. And that's not to say they are the better quality side, but they just don't do that to teams. So I don't think it'll be a cakewalk. I think there's a lot of pressure on Patrick Schick and Yusuf Poulsen tomorrow to replicate the goals that Timo Werner brought to that Leipzig team. It's a massive loss for them. But we were talking, me and Rowan, who were covering the game tomorrow. When you have an Atletico Madrid game, you kind of know what to expect. It'll be really close. It'll be really tight. And it may very well be 1 goal wins that game, as it usually is with Atletico Madrid.
It's one of those games, I think, not to be harsh, but on paper, it is probably better that it's 1 leg, because I think if it was 2 legs, these sides, specifically Atletico Madrid, they can kind of calm the play down. They don't have to rush. While in a 1-leg fixture, they are going to have to go for it at some point, because if it's 0-0, you know, we get an hour in, there's half an hour of game time left. they're going to have to go and push up a little bit more than maybe they usually would in a two-legged fixture. I mean, look at how they were against Liverpool. They really, really came out when it went to extra time in that second leg and changed their style. We don't expect them usually to go very attacking, but we know, of course, Firmino scored that goal to put Liverpool in the lead, and then after that, it was just lovely, lovely attacking football from them. And then, of course, Morata and Llorente got those 2 goals to take them through. And unfortunately for Chris Welch, I'm sorry I have to bring it up, but it's going to be a good game, I think. It's going to be a very good game.
Yeah, I think, as we say, on paper, everyone would probably put this down as the tie with the least amount of goals in it, just because that is Atletico Madrid. But again, I tried to get through it, but there were so many chances in this game with Neymar that I couldn't. But I admire Simeone and his style of play and how he moulds defenders. And Kieran Trippier had a great season this year for Atletico Madrid, and we called into question in England his defensive ability. If you want to learn from anyone, it's Diego Simeone on how to defend. So I think it'll be a chess match tomorrow, would probably be my words for it.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good game. Q&L and Rowan, they'll be live for that one. 7:45 kickoff at 8 p.m. UK time for that game. Let's have a look at the comments, see how you guys are doing. Of course, if you are new, as always, be greatly appreciated if you do leave a like and a subscription. We are going to be covering every single game throughout the rest of this Champions League and Europa League tournament as part of our Festival of Football 2020. So let's have a quick gander, see what people have been saying. Chris Well, Atalanta are the Champions League. Leicester, 5,000 to 1 at the start of the tournament.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were when they were bottom of the group after 3 games. I wouldn't have been surprised if that was the odds. But not at the start of the tournament, because I actually had them to go through a second. But after 3 games, I was thinking, I know nothing about football.
It's an interesting one, because I think there'll be a lot of people who probably actually thought with that group that maybe Shakhtar would have gone through. And I said it to Roman last night, specifically for Shakhtar, I think it's better that they got knocked out of the Champions League and went to the Europa League than staying in the Champions League, because for them, they probably would have got knocked out quite early on. Maybe they made it through the first round, then got knocked out in the quarterfinals, maybe earlier. But for them, it's been the perfect tournament in the Europa League so far. And I think somebody said last night as well, it's the most successful group because Shakhtar in the semi-finals of the Europa League, Atalanta potentially 45 minutes away from a semi-final, and Manchester City, of course, have a quarter-final to play too.
What about Inter's group? Because Inter's group was really tough.
Inter
they had Dortmund, so scrap that. Yeah, I think Leverkusen would have been up there, but I think they might have had Juventus, so that also doesn't matter.
They had Juventus and Lokomotiv Moscow. So
I'll tell you what, if you'd have done that, do you know when the draw thingy, you went, which one of these groups would have the most teams competing in the latter stages? You would not have picked City, Shakhtar, Atalanta, and Zagreb. No chance.
You would have probably picked the group with Barca because you know that one of the big 3 clubs was going to drop down to the Europa League anyway. So you'd assume whoever would drop down was probably going to go on to at least get to a semi-final or win it. But when you look at that group specifically, it's crazy. I mean, once again, the whole situation of 3 games into the group, they were bottom of the group, Atalanta, and then they got that important draw against City. They beat Shakhtar by a couple of goals. It's an incredible story, and it's one that Atalanta fans, it's been such a good couple of seasons for them, and hopefully their story can continue on. They're 45 minutes away from a semi-final. Of course, they will face either Leipzig or Atletico Madrid. Now, if they do get through, and it's a game against Atletico Madrid, that is an interesting tie, because I think when you look at Leipzig, for example, and compare the 2 sides, I think Atalanta attacking-wise are much, much better than RB Leipzig and would probably give Atletico Madrid more of a run for the money than Leipzig.
Without Werner, yes. Werner was so important to that Leipzig team. I think if we looked at this side of the bracket, 3 teams, very similar in terms of how they play the game. Whereas Atletico Madrid are the complete and utter outlaw but it may be the most effective way. So I do believe it'll be an interesting game, but if Atalanta were to make it through, I do believe Atletico is so strong defensively that they wouldn't be able to. Because is Ilicic out for
the entire thing?
Right, okay. Well, did did Ilicic come in for? Did Zapata come in for Ilicic, or was it Pasalic that came in for Ilicic?
They're already in the squad. I think
So,
they're just missing one player in general, or they brought up a youngster. Oh, in the actual team.
Yeah, who starts usually? Is it Zapata and Ilicic, or is it Pasalic?
It would usually, I think, be Ilicic. Zapata had that long injury that kept him out, so he's kind of come back. I think Ilicic would have probably started up top tonight over Zapata.
If Pasalic would have come in for Ilicic, what a substitution by Gasperini, because Pasalic is the difference maker so far.
And of course, second half, we're talking about substitutes. We talked earlier about PSG having a lack of players on the bench who were going to be important to bring on. They do have Mbappe on the bench. If you are not aware, Tuchel has said he can play half an hour, so we might see him for a very, very brief spell tonight. But for Atalanta, another incredible striker this season that they could bring on, Luis Muriel, who's, of course, their top scorer this season. Ilicic had a bit of an injury spell towards the end of the season that kept him out. Zapata had the opposite. That was kind of towards the start of the season, while Muriel's been there for the entire season without really having any serious injuries. He could be the perfect player to bring on with half an hour to go. Somebody with a bit of pace, different to Zapata, that could really test that PSG backline.
I think we did this. I think you did this once when we were doing the podcast, and you did a quiz on like top 5 goal scorers from, or top 10 maybe from Serie A. And the fact that Luis Muriel was in shocked everyone, because he is a substitute striker, because he doesn't start week in, week out. But and I've always called him a little bit of not a journeyman, but I feel like he's been thrown around a little bit everywhere. And I'm glad to see him finally pick up a streak. And now we're at Atalanta, and he is becoming a really key, integral part to this Atalanta team, even though it's off the bench sometimes.
Absolutely. He was really developing as a player before this season. He was at loan at Fiorentina. He had a great season there, playing off the left-hand side, really developed his game. And I think it was probably the perfect move for him, coming into this attacking, young, fresh team with a vibrant manager. And it's worked perfect for him so far. 17 goals in Serie A this season, which is absolutely outstanding for a player that is coming off the bench more than he's starting. The players are out for the second half.
Well, Atalanta are. PSG not so much.
Maybe they're worried they don't want to come out yet. Well, Tuchel's coming out. Here he is. He's hobbling along on his crutches. Do you think they'll make any changes at half-time yourself? Or do you
I've not seen it. I'm looking at, do you know who was there in that huddle? I still see Sarabia, who for me, really poor in that first half. Obviously, he's not playing in his natural position. Out on, I don't know, most of the time I saw him out wide left. Icardi out wide right, and Neymar kind of just roaming around. So very strange tactically. And Mbappe was out there dribbling during half time. He seemed to be moving okay. But it'll be interesting to see. I don't think there's any changes at all. But I just want to ask you quickly, Josh, about this. This is an Atalanta fairy tale. Gasperini, the manager, surely someone's got to come in for him eventually, because Atalanta, he's done so well with this team that hasn't got the financial backing of other teams. They haven't got the biggest stature. But it really has been like a really magical story, and surely he's crucial to it.
He's pivotal to it. The fans love him in Italy. He's pretty much, worshipped as a god, you could say, in Atalanta right now with the fans. Of course, they've got a very good squad unity. I don't know if people be aware when they played their round of 16 tie against Valencia. I think they donated all the cash they made to the hospitals. The fans themselves donated all the money to the hospitals. They've got really, really good fans, and I think he's changed the club around. They were known as a mid-table to relegation side, struggling team in Serie A. They weren't the most amazing, and he's had a good project there. And there's one club I'm very surprised that didn't go in for him. I wouldn't say necessarily surprised that they didn't, but I think they could go in for him in the future, dependent on whether Pirlo does well, and that's Juventus. He'd be a great fit for them attacking-wise, but I think he's dedicated to this whole kind of story at Atalanta, and I think he'll have a couple of years at this club before he moves on, because right now he's got the feel-good factor going in Italy, and honestly, I think for any kind of neutral football fans, hopefully this is something that can last for years to come.
I do question whether he'd do that, because he is worshipped, as you say, in massively high regards. would he move to another team in Italy? I don't think so straight away. I think we may see him move to a different country before we see him. I'm not saying he will leave Atalanta, but I'm just saying it's one of them. The big teams have got to come knocking at some point because of how well he has done at Atalanta.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the Juventus one, I'm surprised Juventus didn't go in for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he said no, because I think if you're any manager or any player that goes to Juventus, there's a very big disliking for the club, and he'd never do that. I think he's here to stay right now, and everything's working a charm for him. They were the second top scorers in Europe. In fact, between these two sides together throughout all the season in all competitions, they've pretty much scored 250 goals between them, which is an absolutely outstanding number. And if you were an Atalanta fan, and somebody said to you 5 years ago that you were going to get into the Champions League and you were potentially going to get into a semi-final, they wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, and they've done it playing their style as well. They've never changed it. They play how they like to play. And as a fan as well, it's not one of them. I remember, for example, Maurizio Sarri at Chelsea got him third, but his style of play just never connected with the fans. Whereas I feel like this, I mean, even as a neutral, we know how breathtaking Atalanta can be. Imagine being a fan and week in, week out, you see this football. You'd be so happy.
It's beautiful to watch. I think it was Bear Love who said earlier on they'd not they're not scored in a game since 2017. Of course, they've scored tonight, so that stat is going to continue. But they are right now the darlings of the Champions League. They're the neutrals ones to watch. For most people, everybody who's watching this, if you pick a side out, you kind of want to support in the background because your team maybe isn't in it, or you're just a neutral fan. It most likely is Atalanta, and I think there's a lot of people from the Premier League, fans of probably even like Ligue 1, who will really look at this club and scout them a little bit more than maybe they would have a couple of years ago, because they've grown so quickly, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, it's all right finishing. It's the same with players. It's okay standing out in your league if you're. I'm not talking about Italy here, but do you know, like a lesser league?
Yeah.
But then once you shine in Europe, then you get everybody's attention then.
Absolutely. I think the one interesting thing is what type of players they can bring in the next season to build as a club, because it's one of those where they've got to a Champions League semi-final potentially. Of course, it's still got 45 minutes left, so that could change. But it's what players would want to go, because they've done so well this season, and they were only a couple of points off winning the title in Serie A. Of course, Juventus winning it with, I think, 2 or 3 games left to go. But it's one of those where you can't see big players wanting to go.
But their recruitment, I think they stick to the same recruitment they've always had. I mean, Ilicic was always a good player, but since he's gone to Atalanta, he's a great player. Same with Alejandro Gomez. Good player. Atalanta made him a great player. So I think they don't veer away. They don't try and become something they're not. Because once you go away from that, I think you lose the charm of what you have. And I think signing young players like Malinovsky, who I think is getting ready to come on now, players like that will keep this club going for, hopefully, we'll see them on this stage for years to come, is probably the best way to word it.
Absolutely. I think it's, if you spend a lot of cash on players, it's the worries, isn't it, really, of finances as well. I think, as you said, they've over the years picked up some incredible players. You've only got to look at Martin de Roon. If Premier League fans will remember him when he was at Middlesbrough, he wasn't really doing good at all there, and he's come to this league and he's one of the fans' favourite players now.
I remember his equaliser against Man City. That's what I remember Martin de Roon fondly for. That will only be a memory of Martin de Roon in the Premier League, was when he equalised against Man City.
And I tell you what, as well, I said this to Kieran before the stream started. If you're not aware, in the press conference that they did before this game's in the pre-match conference, de Roon kind of talked to the media and said, if they win this game, he will cook 1,000 pizzas for Atalanta fans, and he's 40 minutes away from potentially having to live up to his word. I'll
tell you what, I hope he's got a lot of dough. Not just actual dough.
He's got to be prepared. Although there is a free kick here for Neymar to take. He's hit it, and it's a poor choice there. Although they'll have a corner from this. Little Bez asks, will there be extra time tonight, or do you think PSG will return the score?
Do you know what? I feel like we asked for extra time last night, and then Sevilla scored in the 87th minute. So tonight, I'm going to say that PSG will equalise and we'll go to extra time.
I'm going to give it a few more minutes because I think it all depends on the changes that PSG make here. It's how early do they bring Mbappe on, because if it still stays 1-0, there is no doubt that he will bring Mbappe on. Whether Mbappe's leg was sliced off or he was on crutches, he'd bring him on.
Yeah.
Because right now, the attacking play has been so poor, and I don't know what Tuchel will have said at half time, but he's got to have had a big team talk, because this is not a situation where PSG can sit back and lose this game 1-0 going to a second leg. They have to go out now and go for it, and this is what makes these Champions League finals this year so special, the fact that these are only one-legged games. Yeah,
we're big footy manager fans. Thomas Tuchel has clicked the give injections button and he can get through the next fixture, but we'll see how he can do after that. I'm wondering when they're going to make that change, because I did see Malinovsky looked prepped and ready to come on, but I'm not seeing him. And you've got to remember, I think Atalanta now have 3 yellow cards.
Yeah.
And there's one for Duvon Zapata, make it 4 yellow cards for Atalanta now. So they do need to start, the worst thing for them is going down to 10 men.
Yeah, that's the last thing they need, because that's the point where Tuchel will probably go, right then, now let's bring on a few attackers, even if not Mbappe, somebody, it sounds crazy, but somebody like Choupo-Moting, bring him on. It's an extra attacker who can, worry this back line, because on paper, this Atalanta defence isn't the best in the world, It's probably the weakest defence out of all of the clubs left in the competition, you could probably say on paper. But they're doing very well right now. Very, very well.
Yeah, they've stood up to everything. And I remember I talked to you before this. I watched last couple of games of the Serie A season, and Caldara for Atalanta looked like a liability. But tonight it's been very solid. Maybe it was just a blip I saw, but all 3 of them seem to have a good understanding. Even Jimisti, who's come in for Palomino.
So, I think the problem at the end of the season, and probably why it didn't look as good, is just because of how pretty much the whole season was done for every club with about 2 or 3 games left to play. The relegation battle was pretty much done and dusted. There was it was edging towards the last game of the season, but that kind of finished off. The Champions League spots were done with, I think, 4 weeks to go. So realistically speaking, for a club like Atalanta, there was nothing left to play for.
No, but you don't want to have your players rest them for the final 3 weeks, because then you'd have 6 weeks without a game.
Yeah.
And then come in pretty much the same as PSG would. So they had to keep playing the strongest 11 whilst risking injuries. There's another yellow card here. It's for Bernat. But I tell you what, Neymar, again, in the middle of the pitch, he nutmegged the man. And it's the people in front of him they weren't on the same page. And that's what lack of game time really does to this Paris Saint-Germain side. They're just not clicking tonight at all.
I think they're really, really missing Verratti. And actually, to be fair, I think they're really probably missing Di Maria the most, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Di Maria's still, he's getting on now, he's getting old, but he's got the pace still. He's been one of their best players in the last couple of years. I think, even now next season, he's such an important part of that team. And if you compare him to Sarabia, he's a much, much different player. And he's a game changer. How many times has he scored important goals for them in big games?
Exactly. He's been doing his whole career as well. Yes, even though he's getting older, he's still. There he is, actually. We speak and you shall receive. There he is. But Bernat just gave away another foul. And he's got to watch it because he's just been yellow carded. So, just needs to be careful. Obviously, Layvin Kazawa did sign a new deal with PSG. Is he on the bench tonight?
I don't think he is, no. He's out injured currently, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, so there you go. Celebrate a 5-year deal by being injured.
Oh, long shot. Oh. Well, it probably wasn't much on target as the Foyes was there, but Darun just thought, I'm going to hit one on the half volley from about 30 yards out. And we always like a long-range effort because, to be fair, we haven't had a goal, I think, yet, a screamer in the competition.
No, Pasalich's was all right. It wasn't a screamer though. Lovely finish, but wasn't a screamer.
We're still waiting for that big goal where we can say that is the standout goal of the tournament since it's gone to like Lisbon and Germany.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be one at some point, but we are creeping up now to 55 minutes. Josh, you've got to be thinking if you're Thomas Tuchel, maybe even a tactical tweak.
Yeah, I'm very surprised he's not told someone like Draxler to start warming up. I think the midfield tonight is all right defensively wise. It's doing the job it needs to, but they're still lacking that creative midfielder in there, somebody to spice this game up. And to be honest, I don't know whether you agree with me. They've pretty much started the second half in this first 10 minutes the way that they ended it.
Yep. There was no shortage of chances for PSG in the first half, and this half they haven't managed to create any, but again, they've just been poor with the final ball every time, and Herrera there giving away a niggly foul. I won't be surprised if he got a yellow. Oh, yellow look at card. That. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony Taylor.
He did not hesitate there. I saw he was going straight for his pocket, getting that card out.
Honestly, who'd want to be a referee here? We could do this, John, honestly.
I think as well, actually, I'm going to say now, I think Atalanta need to make a change as well. Get a second goal in this game. And I wouldn't say it'll end it, but just really put the pressure on PSG because the 1-0 lead's good right now. But with the way that PSG are, if Mbappe comes on in this game, although he might not be fully fit, he could still make a big difference. While if you get that second goal, they're going to have to push even more.
I wonder how much, because his pace is so important. At the back post, rises. Oh, it fell at the back post, but I think it just fell to the wrong man.
That is the opportunity there. Lovely cross into the box, back post, trying to drop it down into the path of, I think, was it Hatiboa?
No, Hatiboa moved out the way for, I think it was one at centre-backs, which is why it went so far wide.
It's a good chance, but Malinowski is coming on, finally, it looks like.
I swear he's been ready for ages, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a bit awkward for him there because I think Gasperi might have said to him if that went into the back of the net, no, Mark, you're going to have to sit down again. Well, PSG coming forward here.
Neymar again. He's the man tonight. No one else is helping him. Tilo Kehrer unleashing a shot with the left. It is blocked because very surprising, but he thinks Sarabia is offside there, but it won't matter.
Icardi over. It's really poor right now. Really poor from them. They've got to do better in this final kind of half an hour. We are getting a change, and Mbappe is coming on. Well, he said that he was going to get half an hour of game time, and that is exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, I think if you look at the likes of the substitutes, so Alejandro Gomez being replaced. Not sure if he looks to have picked up a little bit of a problem from the Ander Herrera tackle. Grimacing as he comes off for Malinovsky, another Ukrainian international.
Good on set pieces. Hopefully maybe a free kick just outside the box. He could use that opportunity. Palomino is going to come on as well, the Argentinian centre-back, just to assure it a bit more. I think, is it Jamisti who's going to come off here? It's looking like it's going to be Jamisti. He's coming off.
And Sarabia is off for Mbappe. Not a surprise. Sarabia, very poor tonight. Got to admit. I think he's been...
Yeah, I think his cards. He's been folded here with his cards pretty much. He's got to put Mbappe on at this stage. And the question is he going to be fit enough to be able to do what he usually does? Or are we going to see not necessarily a tired Mbappe, but not up to the pace as what we usually expect?
Well, that's what I was thinking with, like, his pace is so important. I wonder how much of that is gone, because if he breaks out into full sprint on a dodgy ankle, I can't imagine that's going to be fun for him, but we're not seeing him run it. He's gone wide left. Icardi is wide right, which is really bizarre.
I think as well, Palomino's probably come on. I think he's noticed there that Mbappe's coming on and thought, right, let's bring on an assured defender because Jamisti's young, probably not as experienced as Toloi and Palomino are. Bring on the experience just to assure that back line and make sure that Mbappe isn't getting as many chances as you'd like him to, although he's on the ball now. He's bombing forward and, well, that's a poor pass from him there. And, of course, he's just squeezed it, feeling his way into the game.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe a bit of that rustiness showing early. But
Little Bears put, by the way, Neymar and Mbappe, a nightmare for Italians.
A nightmare for anyone. It is. This is the thing about PSG. Their team is dangerous, but if you can frustrate them, and I think that's what Atalanta are doing tonight. They've been brilliant. Mbappe on the ball, but again, it's not.
It's a bit heavy with the pass there.
Not managing to create that key opening. Like I don't remember Sportiello doing much into all the chances they've had have been wayward. And I don't remember Sportiello having to make a really important save.
No, he's not really had anything to do so far. It's been very quiet for him. He's had little opportunities, but he's had to go and catch the ball and things like that. But I'm worried here with this half an hour left that Atalanta get a little bit too comfortable, which is why I'm thinking we will probably see an attacking change again soon when Muriel might come on, have Zapata and Muriel together. Zapata's not the tallest player in the world, but it's kind of that little and large duo maybe we might see. Because as this game goes on, we could see Neymar and Mbappe go up top together. Yeah, very Lukaku,
Lautaro sort of thing, but they are the prime example. But I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe they do take Zapata off and just play Muriel as, because they do need to sit back a bit more, just unleash that long ball and let his pace kind of do the talk. He's much faster than the likes of Duvan Zapata. He's much physically larger. Brilliant bit of skill from Mbappe. He's not lost his showboating with his injury. But it is another foul.
Burnout, and that's going to be a yellow card. Is he going to give? I don't think so. He's not going for his...
He's already got a yellow card.
Just have a look at that tackle now, see whether...
Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure he's on a yellow.
He might be. Make sure on that one. Thanks for all the likes as well tonight, by the way. Greatly appreciate it. If you are new, as always, it'd be greatly appreciated if you do leave a subscription. We've just got above 650 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Free kick for PSG, lofted in towards the path of, I think, Burnout there. Cleared away.
Yeah, but Bernat, this PSG team's not the tallest, really. Can confirm, no, Jamisti was on a yellow, De Bruyne's on a yellow, Frula's on a yellow, Zapata's on a yellow, Hatibauer is not, and I'm surprised he wasn't after that tackle, to be honest.
Yeah, his foot wasn't really anywhere near the ball, to be honest. I thought he was going to get the yellow card out there, but he hasn't. Maybe a chance here for Atalanta to counter-attack, and I've got to say as well, there is now no excuse in this competition for tiredness in terms of the two French sides, because we saw how Lyon went into that game against Juventus. Of course, there was the controversial decisions, but they put a great performance in, considering that these two sides, PSG and Lyon, haven't played proper competitive games for months now.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously, it's hard because when we talk about that game now, we want to be as generous to both, Lyon and how well they played, but we can't because of the referee controversy. But we can give them credit where credit is due. They played really well. And didn't really look leggy at all in the game. Great tackle in the midfield by Herrera, who's still on the pitch, but surely Draxler is imminent as well.
I'd have thought, I think, of course, they've got the 5 substitutions. I think Draxler might come on. Just kind of looking at the bench right now to see who else they could bring on, to be honest. There's a lot of young players in the team. I mean, as I said, they've got Leandro Paredes, the other centre-mid Argentinian, so maybe he could come on for Ander Herrera, just in case of the booking. Apart from that, they've got Loic Mbeso, he's a youngster, Dagba, youngster, Michel Bakker, full-back, he's a youngster, Abdou Diallo for another centre-back.
Mbappe sold Toloi a dream down the wing and forced him to tackle. But nothing comes of it. But that is what Mbappe can truly do.
It's lovely work, but if he stays like this after 90 minutes, the showboating means fuck all. It's not about showing off these silky skills. It's the simple footwork that needs to be done right now. It's the crosses. You can sit there, you can do rainbow flicks all you like, but if you can't cross a ball, which pretty much has been the story of this game so far, then you deserve to get knocked out, in my opinion. And that's not being harsh. If you're watching the game right now, I don't know whether you'd agree, but the attacking play in the final third, even now after 65 minutes, has been just dreadful.
Well, that's the thing. I think we see the team that's winning is the team that's done the simple stuff just a little bit better than PSG.
I don't want to sound like Roy Keane in the fact, 2 yards, it's 2 yards. They it's nice to see the skills, because I think this is one of the very few sides where they've got the players that have that ability. I mean, you even look now at Barcelona, probably only one of the players that can do that is Messi. And Ronaldo's trickery, he shows it off at times, but not as much as he used to. While at PSG, they've got two players that love skills, but right now, you can do all this you like. If you're not getting the ball into the box or having good opportunities, then it'd be plain sailing for 25 minutes for Atalanta.
It will be, and as I say, I don't remember, I don't know about you, the goal really being tested in this second half at all. There's been nothing, and Little Bears said that Atalanta will be total defence. I wouldn't say they've been total. It's another yellow card. Taloy is now in the book.
Well, this is the risk now, as you said. I think in the first half, they've got to watch out. Last thing they need is to go down to 10 men, because that's when PSG will really go for it. In fact, if somebody wants to get sent off, I could probably see them putting Mbappe and Neymar up top just to try and exploit that three-man defence. Although, of course, they could shift it to a 4 or 5 at the back with the two wide midfielders in Gosens and Hatiboa.
Well, Neymar is central and deeper than where he usually was. He's starting, I think he may have gone to an attacking midfielder role, because he is very, very central, and Icardi does seem to have appeared to go up top. So maybe they've gone with a 4-3-1-2, I'm not sure.
That was what they were potentially saying for the... Oh, no, it's a 4-2-3-1, sorry, for the starting lineup, I think. But it does look like they've changed the formation here. Good clearance from Thiago Silva, who, to be honest, it's a shame, really, because it looks like he's crying in that picture there, but they've not had, like, a great deal of opportunities from either side.
No, I wondered what was wrong with Thiago Silva there when he was pulling that face, but I've got a feeling we're going to see that one on Twitter at some point as a GIF.
We've not had just really many major chances from both teams, to be honest. There's been little chances for Atalanta in this second half. PSG, I don't really think I can remember an opportunity on goal at all, apart from the odd poor passes here and there. But we said at the start of this game we were hoping for goals, and he's not delivered goals, but there's still time. It could open up.
No, and by no means has it been a bad game. It's been just very
cagey,
sloppy, very sloppy as well, in terms of not really from Atalanta. They've not created as many openings as PSG, but when PSG have created them, they've done nothing with them. So, and there is Luis Muriel, who hopefully can add a little bit more attacking flair to Atalanta.
And there's something that's telling me they will get on the counter-attack and maybe get a goal in this game. I can see him finishing off this PSG side right now, but of course, we might see other changes come for PSG with about 20 minutes to go. We're on the 68th minute for any of you which are kind of wondering what time the game is currently in right now. But he looks calm, Tuchel. He looks calm. Although frustrations will begin to grow as time goes on.
Yeah, I think it's poker face. I've just read Ronaldo's comment. Have you just read Ronaldo's comment?
I have indeed.
I was like midway through watching the game, and I'm just going, surely you can tell that duck's got eyes.
It's like a little less, isn't it, on the headphones there? Another card, by the way. I think Marquinhos has gone into the book here.
We may not have had goals, Josh, but we've had fouls. So what's more important?
We have. Here comes the change. Who's coming off? It's not going to be Zapata. As I said, I think Pasalic is going to come off here.
Is Keylor Navas okay?
I think so. Oh, no. He's got his hand up. He's not.
I was going to say, he was sat down in the background, unless he fancied...
I thought maybe he was just trying to cool down for a second, because it is warm in Lisbon right now. Of course, we were saying it's quite warm here in the UK, but it'll be absolutely roasting there. But he was calling for somebody to come on there. They have got Sergio Rico, who looks like he's going to be coming on here. Sergio Rico.
That is a change when you're losing you don't want to make. You want to bring on as many attacking players as possible.
I mean, he's not a bad goalkeeper, Sergio Rico, but considering Keylor Navas made a couple of good saves in that first half, this could be a big, big difference maker for them. Because let's be real, he's one of their biggest players on the pitch, in my opinion.
No, he's absolutely fantastic. You know, early on, even though it was offside, that Caldara header, that's a magical save. And the other one was good height for him, but you know, as a keeper, you can only save the shots that are given. Sergio Rico will come on. I can see Paredes getting changed in the back as well.
No Draxler yet either, which is quite interested in. But I mean, Sergio Rico, once again, he's like Ander Herrera box to box. He's a little bit more attacking than he is defensively wise. So I guess he can do a similar thing to what Draxler does, but not to. Oh no, he's actually coming on Draxler.
Yeah, I do just want to clarify. You just called Sergio Rico a box to box midfielder.
Did I? I thought it was Paredes.
No, you said Sergio Rico.
I mean, in this day and age, goalkeepers, they've got to be box-to-box midfielders. No, Paredes is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I was just like, wait till, just in case he doesn't notice, I'll let him know.
But no, it looks like, I think they'll take Marquinhos off and Herrera.
Yeah, there goes Herrera. Not had it is Gay coming off, by the way.
Gay's coming off.
I mean, he's not had a star season, has Ander Herrera, since moving. I think he moved on a free from Man United, but not really picked his career up, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, he's not done a great deal at all. I'm just trying to have a quick look, by the way, to see when was the last time Sergio Rico actually played a game for PSG. He's not played a great deal. In fact, in Liga, he only ever played 2 games for the club. It was on the bench for the rest of it. In the Champions League, he's played 1. He's played, it looks like, let's count it up, 2 games in Ligue 1, 3 games in Coupe de France, 2 games in the Coupe de la Ligue, 1 game in Champions League. He's played less than 10 games this season for the club, which I guess is what you'd expect.
Is Rico okay? He's not coming on? Is he coming on? He walked off.
Well, 21 is coming off here. Just trying to find out what's happening here. Little Bez puts PSG must to raise and give all in on this last hand.
A very good poker reference from
Taylor Navas.
Is staying on? Yep. So Rico got his gloves already, and the box-to-box mid has sat back down on the bench.
Question is that going to be the right decision? Of course, there'll be a bit of an emphasis now, maybe to try a couple of long shots, test him out if he's, got maybe pull hamstring. I don't know what exactly has gone on because he's just gone down. But maybe we'll see this Atalanta side just test him a little bit more from long range and try and see if they can not, as I said, injure him, but put him under pressure.
Interesting to see where he picked up the injury because I didn't see him kick the ball out. I didn't see him take, save a shot. It was just kind of, the ball came out for Thiago Silva, I think, who gave away a free kick, or Marquinhos, can't remember which one it was. And then I just see him sat on the floor in the background. It's a brilliant ball in behind though to Mbappe, who's breaking down the left, takes his shot right at Sportiello.
It's unlucky because 9 times out of 10, you'd think Mbappe from that range would be putting that into the back of the net. It's a good chance for him. Sportiello, once again, not really had much to do there. It's hit straight at him, as you said, but lovely bit of skill from Bernat. Gives the ball away, though, unfortunately. And once again, you can showboat, but if you're going to give the ball away, and there's a good chance here maybe for Atalanta counter-attack, and this is a lovely opportunity. Muriel's got the pace, but he's given a free kick there to PSG, and Muriel not happy. And that's where they can hit on the counter-attack.
He is not happy, neither am I, because that was never a foul. But brilliant ball in behind, the pace of Mbappe, burning Caldara, poor finish in the end, you've got to say. And then Bernat whipping out the Maradona turn. You say Neymar and Mbappe's got the showboating, left back's on it.
I don't know whether Tuchel said to him, just try and pull him off with skills, but, this isn't a game about skills. You can do as many skills as you want, but they've still got that one to lead. 15 minutes left, and you can't count PSG out of this game yet, but I feel like as this game goes on, their chances are just slowly fading away. But those substitutes have only just come on, so we'll see how they do affect the game within this next kind of 5 or 10 minutes. But somebody needs to do something quick because I'm getting worried for PSG here.
Yeah, the only man I can really see on the bench is stick or twist, and it's Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, and
it'd be very, very typical for him to come on and score an equaliser or something, or a winner.
We were right to worry at the start about their bench because look at how important it is now that they need it. They need game changers to bring on. And
it's a lovely pass. It's kept in play, but straight into the hands of Taylor Navas.
Looks all right with that jump there. He doesn't seem to be bothered too much.
Chris has put there, what a run from Atalanta regardless. Absolutely.
Yep. They've gone toe-to-toe with PSG here tonight. And I've got to admit, Josh, I don't know about you, this is just another disappointing European campaign from PSG, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't say disappointing in terms of the campaign itself. I think, to be honest, at the group stages, they looked like one of the best teams. You've got to remember they came out of that group unbeaten. They beat PSG, Real Madrid twice convincingly. They looked quite good, throughout that group stage. But I'm just trying to remember, who did they play in the knockouts?
They beat Dortmund,
which they did quite well against them. It was a scruffy game, but if they get knocked out here,
well, he's right. Sorry, Josh. It was Neymar again creating his own opening because he's taking the game and trying to do everything himself. And it sounds like I'm saying that in a really greedy way. No one is helping him out. So he took on again one or two players, but he strokes it towards Sportiello and he'll gather them all night. And as we've said, not been tested tonight, that replacement goalkeeper at all.
I do feel sorry for Neymar, and sad because it just feels like to me as this game goes on, is Neymar just starting to lose a bit of confidence with it, with his team? Because as you said, he has been the important player tonight. He's not, been amazing in that final third, but he's been the one that has been instrumental to pretty much almost every attack, and nobody else seems to be doing anything. And honestly, if I was Thomas Tuchel right now, it sounds so stupid. I'd genuinely just bring off Icardi and bring on Choupo-Moting. He's done nothing tonight, Icardi.
Yeah, and Neymar's down again there, but it was a good tackle from Martin de Roon.
Oh, it's a poor pass, though, from Zapata.
It is, but he'll only throw in. And Anthony Taylor's going back to check on Neymar, who's just getting up now. The thing is, Neymar, as we say, has done everything right tonight, but I don't think we can be happy with his finishing. I think he's been extremely poor in that department. I don't think we can be happy with his final ball. But in terms of on the ball, trying to create some opportunities, him and the little glimpse of Mbappe, but apart from that, Icardi not been in the game, Sarabia not been in the game. The midfield have just been shuffling around, not really creating anything.
I don't know, I've only been on for a few minutes here, but the midfield seems to not be doing anything right now, but a good chance maybe for Atalanta. They're in the box, going to try and loft it towards the path of Muriel, who's trying to bomb forward, but he's kept it in place somehow, and he can't. Unlucky. He thought maybe we're just going to be able to keep it in play, but it's an awkward angle for him to turn and try and push the ball back in, and it's unlucky there. But to come back on your point, the group stages was good, but if they do get knocked out tonight, it really doesn't mean anything. PSG fans won't go, oh, but we had a great group stage campaign. They'll forget about it.
Exactly. I just think, not to disrespect Atalanta at all, but they should be winning games like this. That this is the games that's going to go out of play. Again, Neymar dribbling on the left-hand side, but he's getting frustrated now.
Frustration now kicking in. And honestly, if I was Neymar, I'd probably be, going in if it stays 1-0 at the end of this game. And Sergio Rico is coming on. I think he is indeed. And he must have listened to me because Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting is coming on. Now, Nevas is hobbling there, which, as I said, bit of a risky decision to stay on, but Rico's in the post. Icardi is off. He's listened to me because I've got to say, Icardi tonight, waste of time.
Completely agree. Sorry, I was opening a can.
It's all right. We've got 10 minutes left of this game. Atalanta 1, PSG 0. Can Maxime Choupo-Moting do the unthinkable? I'm
not sure. It's a great drilled ball to Mbappe's feet from Neymar. Again, rolls the opportunity into the hands of Sportiello.
And Choupo-Moting, he was there, he was ready in case Sportiello pushed it out towards him.
He's ready.
A great start.
He's primed and ready to score a tap-in tonight, is Sportiello. Not Sportiello. He's the goalkeeper. We're all at it tonight.
We're all making mistakes with the goalkeepers tonight.
Right, there's a man jumping up and down on the bench for Atalanta, so they look like they're going to be making a sub. Brilliant spin by Mbappe. He's one-on-one.
He's got to. Surely. Oh, unbelievable. And even Tuchel, he's got his hands on his head. He's fuming now. We said about him looking calm. 10 minutes left. He's put the crutches down. He's standing up. You could tell he's fuming right now. And, of course, Mbappe, he's got to watch out. He's only just come back from that injury, but he's got to carry in that.
look on the replay, there was a little hop in his step. I don't know if that was part of the run or that was just injury. It's drilled.
And that sums up the game so far, because, my lord, I don't know what Thiago Silva's done there. He must have seen Company's goal against Leicester and thought, maybe I can hit it from long range, and it's a P-roller that goes out and nowhere near the goal. And Chris has put as brutal as you could be on a Cardi, Roy Keane style.
It's 2 yards, Mauro. It's 2 yards.
There's 2 changes here for Atalanta. Castagna is coming on, and Dariva is coming on for Atalanta.
Not really seen much of Dariva. Obviously, Timothy Castagna, we know of him. But Dariva, is he a young lad? I've not seen him before.
He is indeed. He's only 19. He's a midfielder. I think we'll probably see maybe Freuler come off here with the yellow card that he's already got.
There he is.
Absolutely, indeed. Spot on there with that one. So Freuler comes off. Of course, don't want to get the red card late on here. And, of course, yellow cards.
That's Robin Goldson's. We've both made the mistake.
Hey, do you know what? If Freuler comes off, we're saved.
Yep. We meant it all along. We saw him before everyone else did. Nope, Duván Zapata. Couldn't be more wrong.
Oh, unbelievable. You can see now how Atalanta are going this last 10 minutes. Just calm it down now.
Yep. No, they'll be happy with the way their team's performed. I think PSG have had chances without testing. I mean, the shots we've seen have been really, really tame and not bothered the goalkeeper at all. And real shame.
I genuinely think tonight that Atalanta haven't had to play to their normal game plan, to beat this side. But yet they've looked comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think either team's been at the best, and that's, I guess, credit to Atalanta for not being at the best, but still winning this game at the moment.
It was never going to be. I guess there was a potential for one of these sides to batter the other, probably PSG more than Atalanta. I think most people thought this one was going to have goals and it'd be very, very tight. But with how Atalanta have been, I think they've not had to push themselves, and it's a good thing because we know that this tournament is quick. It's only a couple of days until the next game. There's not been a case of sides having to push for it. Of course, PSG being the side in this game right now that have to really put all the effort in. And I think Gasperini will be delighted with how his team have played tonight because, of course, if they do face Leipzig or Atletico Madrid, personally for me right now, it's going to be much more of a tougher game than it is against PSG.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. And even with Atletico having less of an attacking style, they'd probably have more shots on goal that would worry. So I think that's been the really disappointing thing is I've never really been alarmed when PSG have come forward, apart from that one opportunity where Hatibauer, gifted Neymar the chance, but still never came close. But hopefully with 7 minutes to go now, Neymar dispossessed after trying to do it all himself. But it's kitchen sink time. It really is.
You can see they've got pretty much one up top now, which is Muriel, of course, trying to hoof the ball up long towards the Colombian striker. He's got the pace. He's going to be ready, of course. He doesn't tend to play a lot in the starting 11, so he's going to be fit, ready, raring to go for this kind of last 10 minutes. But now it's a question of Atalanta's defensive ability. We've said about it before. Don't know why I keep that out of play there. We've said about it before. Can they hold on?
I think so. Palomino has now been booked. Tally that up as a yellow card counter because there has been so many in this game. And I tell you what, it was exactly what I said I thought Atletico would do if PSG got through, which is they have frustrated the hell out of PSG's star men. But Thilo Kehrer has found Draxler chup-emoting out on this wide right. He's dribbled past one. Neymar-esque from Eric Maxim chup-emoting.
There's a worry, and Bernaldo's just said what I'm going to say. There's a worry that this game might go into extra time. There's a ball that's lofted into the box. I think Choupo-Moting there trying to hoof a low ball into the box, and Bernaldo's I think this will go extra time, late goal drama inbound, and that is exactly what I'm thinking. I'm worried there's going to be a late goal here.
But maybe it'll be Atalanta on the counter. 5 minutes to go. Draxler with the ball in, headed by Kimpembe. No, it's not. It's Choupo-Moting. My apologies. He's headed it over.
And there is Kazawa, one of the players who isn't playing tonight, not in the side. And frustrated there, Choupo-Moting.
Yeah, Not sure what it is, but Choupo-Moting's got blonde highlights. Kimpembe has blonde highlights. Neymar's had blonde highlights. It's just a PSG thing.
And I think it's bad to say, but if one of the substitutes has been influential since he's come on, it genuinely probably is Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. He's had a couple of good touches on the ball, as you said, a bit of silky skills coming out in this game. But with about 5 minutes to go, how much additional time do you think we'll get, Kieran?
Well, we had that time where Sergio Rico, and Keylor Navas doing the okey cokey. They were in, they were out. We didn't know where they were coming from. So I've got to admit, probably about 4 would be my guess.
It's a nerve-wracking time. It's that part of the game where people start thinking there could be a late goal in this one. Somebody's going to nick it late on. There's a long-range effort from Julian Draxler, who's hit it into Rosette of the stadium. In fact, it's gone out of Lisbon into space with that shot.
Won't be surprised if we saw that in a Europa League fixture down the road when that comes bouncing in for Germany.
We're going to see against Sevilla and Inter, ball's just going to drop out the sky, and it'll be that ball there a couple of days after it's been kicked.
Yeah, that one there.
Frustrations. You can see on the bench there, Jussi Gay already got his hands on his head. The one thing I don't like about this PSG side is their aspirations. You have to be a hungry side if you want to win this competition. And to me, whenever you play PSG, they never look like a hungry team. Usually you've got a manager that comes out saying, we're going to go on to this competition to win it. We're here to win it. We're going to smash teams up. We've got some of the world's best players. I think they're very half-arsed, PSG.
A lot of things that annoys me is when things aren't going the way. There's a lot. Look at the bench now. He looks like he's out of it already.
Yeah.
And there's 7 minutes, maybe even more to go, depending on your time. And it's every time something goes wrong, there's puffing, there's hands in the air all the time, and everything's a massive problem. Whereas I don't know if it's a team that sticks together.
The biggest clubs have grit and determination. You see, they usually show, don't they? Like the end of the game, there's a couple of minutes left. Players on their bench, standing watching the games. You rarely ever see players with minutes to go if a score is 1-0 looking dejected. But this PSG side, imagine if you're on the pitch right now and you're looking at your bench, seeing Idrissa Gueye got his hands on his head.
I don't know if it's a club mentality thing because of how heartbreaking it's been for the last 2 years. I don't know if they've got that tough game mentality that other teams have, and I question whether this PSG team will ever be successful at the highest level. And Mbappe there trying to create something. Will that go out for a corner? No, it won't. It'll be kept in.
Stayed in. It's a burden, isn't it? It's always going to be looming over your head. The fact that the big result against Barcelona, where they lost 5-1 in that game, that's always going to loom over the head. Losing last year to Manchester United with pretty much the last kick of the game. It will always loom large in the memory. But as you said, I really don't like this side's aspirations. Although there was a good chance for PSG to get through there, they've got to clear the lines here because it's very risky defending. The ball's just bobbling about, and they clear their lines. But it's a PSG throw-in.
There is but a minute to go. And Di Maria, again, looking really worried. He took his mask off. I'm not sure if that's allowed, but...
But that's what I mean. I mean, Frothers just picked up a knock here. He's limping. But big players like that, he doesn't look like, he's worried about his side getting knocked out yet. There's still time in this game. And the biggest players won't show their nerves, even when they're off the pitch.
Yeah, such a strange sort of feeling. It, as I said, we were talking earlier, I was like, this is the year where surely they believed it was their year, and they haven't looked like...
Oh, it's a lovely ball. Is he going to hit it? Surely. Neymar, he's in! Oh, Marquinhos! Unbelievable! And Tuchel, although he's on crutches, he's standing up as if he hasn't done anything wrong to his legs. And Marquinhos has just put Paris Saint-Germain back in this side, and they can believe that they could get through to the semi-finals.
That's the grit. That's the determination. That's the mentality that we've wanted to see for 90 minutes. It took them 90 minutes, but Marquinhos has prodded home. Choupo-Moting with a delightful chip to the back post. Neymar tried to take a shot himself, but it bobbles into the path of the
CDM. Is that an own goal? I don't know whether it came off one of their players.
I think he was going on target, though.
Yeah, it would have gone on target. But I tell you what, if that reminds me of something, that should surely remind everybody of Sergio Roberto. When that ball went chipped into him, that ball was in the exact similar position. And you can see Tuchel, he's banging the box that he's sat on. He's not got his crutches. He looks furious that his side have taken this long. But VAR is checking it.
What for? Check over.
And
check
it's
over.
A goal. Well.
And now, 5 minutes to go. PSG have been on the end of late goals for so long. And we said they looked abject. They looked defeated. That's what you want to see if you want to be European champions. And now they might have Atalanta rocking.
And that changes everything. Considering the changes that Atalanta have made, they went a little bit more defensive. They went a little bit more tight to try and hold this game out. And it proves, as we said before, their defence is not the best in the world. And unfortunately, before that opportunity came, the ball was bobbling around the box. They couldn't clear their lines. And ultimately now it's going to go surely in PSG's favour with this last couple of minutes.
But Hattibauer putting in a great sprint against Juan Bernat on this right-hand side. He's put a great shift in today as Hattibauer down that right-hand side. He's been the one creating the width.
We might get extra time here in this game.
Or is there more late drama? Kimpembe nicks it. It's through to Neymar.
Oh, Neymar.
It's 3-on-3. Choupo-Moting, Mbappe and Neymar.
Oh, he's dancing.
Inside.
Neymar.
One,
he's
two.
Dancing. He's got to. That's a lovely flick.
Neymar.
There's so much pressure.
Mbappe.
Believe it. Thomas Tuchel.
I don't believe it. We talked about how abject they were, but that is what you want to see. We thought it was a mentality. They've done it to Atalanta. They've scored 2 late goals, and they may very well be going to a semi-final.
Unbelievable. There's a party at PSG because Atalanta have fell at the final hurdle. Unbelievable. The grit, the determination we just said about them not looking like they were going to go for it. And it just proves how a goal can change it like that. And Neymar and Mbappe, somehow, the beautiful work from the two players. And the one player that we said might have, something to do in this game. And he's actually come on. Yep. And I've got to give him credit because he's been outstanding since he's come on. Maxim Choupo-Moting. I tell you what, Stoke fans, you'll bloody miss him because that was a fantastic goal.
It's absolutely wonderful. From the carer ball to Neymar, Mbappe's running behind, and the attacking run from Choupo-Moting, and what a finish to a fantastic tie. And honestly, we talked about how this has happened to them, and finally they might be on the receiving end of a late winner. Change the score, Josh.
Unbelievable. I need to change it. It's not 1-1, it's 2-1. Unbelievable. VAR check.
Check over.
Oh, bloody hell. Right. What's going to happen now? I mean, surely not. Imagine 2-2. Unbelievable. As you said before, they've had this for the last couple of years where it's been them who've had results against them. The PSG, the Manchester United result, they've had multiple times where they've fallen at the final hurdle. But now it could be their time to believe that they're a step closer, potentially, to a Champions League victory. And although for this 90 minutes they've looked dejected, they've looked not, up to scratch as they could have been, and the front three looked so poor, that has changed everything.
It's an absolutely unbelievable end to a Champions League fixture that was quiet for 85 minutes. And we can't go. This PSG side that we've seen in the last 5 minutes was not even visible.
No.
For the 85 minutes of this game, but that is what they've managed to do. They managed to turn it on when it matters the most. Silva, the experienced member of the squad, picking up a little bit of cramp to wheel down the clock. But what an unbelievable turnaround from Paris Saint-Germain.
We've been waiting for a game in the Champions League and the Europa League where we can say there's been one pivotal moment where it's changed the game, one pivotal game that you'll look back on at the end of this competition. You'll say that was the game that might win it for them. And this could be the game that could spur PSG on to victory. Finally, dreamers can come believers. You can see the players going mental. Verratti and Di Maria looking like two ladies that have just won at bingo, the jackpot.
Verratti was hobbling towards the aisleway, and it's unbelievable from PSG. And I tell you what, that run from Mbappe, how important. I mean, he's had chances since he's come on. He's not always been the best at finishing them, but with an injured leg, unbelievable.
Wow, and it's crazy because it's like there's always one game you want to look back on in a Champions League season, and this could be the game that people look back afterwards and say it wasn't a classic, but it brought us an incredible finale.
Absolutely unbelievable. Time surely going to be added on for the stoppages we've just had.
Wow, I mean, surely not Atalanta. They've had such a good run in this competition, and they probably start believing themselves that maybe this could be their year. But here comes PSG again. Mbappe trying to take a touch, but it's a
the long ball.
Touch.
He's through. Luis Muriel.
Surely, Muriel. He's got to. Oh, it's a poor touch. Surely he's dancing. Muriel, he's still going. He's heavy touch. He's kept it in. Oh. Muriel, it's the one chance he needs to stick it in the back of the net, and I
don't believe it.
Oh, that was the chance. That was the chance. It's the touch. He's buckled under the pressure there.
Head in hands.
He's unbelievable. 9 times out of 10, there would be a player there that would stick that in the back of the net. His touch left him down not once, but twice with that opportunity.
Game over. PSG are through with a 2-minute turnaround past the 90-minute mark. It's absolutely unbelievable. Oh.
Wow. Well, for 85 minutes, if you've not watched this game, it was in Atalanta's hands. They had the opportunity to knock out one of Europe's elite sides, but for a team that year on year comes to the big grounds and, usually loses by a goal, by a last-minute winner, this could finally be the important game that spurs PSG on to win in this competition. And what you could say the favourites on that side of the draw have, produced an incredible comeback. And PSG go through Atalanta, who have had a fairy tale story themselves, but unfortunately, their fairy tale story ends here.
Absolutely unbelievable. And I think we've mentioned it multiple times. They've been on the wrong side of this feeling. They've been Atalanta in this situation. But I tell you what, we don't want to take away. This is just the start for Atalanta. We hope for many years to come of being in the latter stages of Europe or competing with these big European sides. But tonight is Paris Saint-Germain's night. Tonight, it's Neymar night. Even though he didn't score, it's Neymar night.
But you know what? The thing is, is the fact that it changed on the goal just like that. It proved that although that this team looked so dejected with minutes to go, the players on the bench looked down, the players on the pitch were getting frustrated. One goal changed everything, and it proves that so importantly next season, Atalanta need to improve that defence. If they want to become one of Europe's elites in this competition, they need to improve that defence.
I think you've also got to look at seeing out games. They've not been in this environment before. Sadly, PSG have the experience of losing games late, but now they finally have the experience of winning it. I'm not sure what Choupo-Moting's doing, something like this, but he can do whatever he wants because he sent his team to a European semi-final, and they have to fancy their chances against Leipzig or Atletico.
And you have to give absolute admiration there to Choupo-Moting. A player who was at Stoke City, he left the club on a free, he joined PSG, and people looked at the signing and said, why did they sign him? He's a backup option at best, but he's coming to this game. Considering Rio Ferdinand, sorry, at the bottom of my screen there. Rio Ferdinand did not play for PSG tonight. Mauro Icardi, he did nothing tonight for PSG, and Tuchel, he made that decision. He brought him on, and he brought the life and the passion that PSG needed with that last couple of minutes left.
Yeah, people remember him for, the viral miss that he had where he was on the goal line. But tonight, he has stood up and been counted in a team with superstars all over the pitch. His name would go unnoticed. But absolutely unbelievable. They dominated the possession. They had more attempts, and they are European semi-finalists. Congratulations, Paris Saint-Germain.
Wow. Well, this might be the game, as I said, where you look back at the end of the tournament, and it wasn't a classic, but it's a memorable game for the situation that was at hand here. Incredible. And surely, hopefully, we can see more incredible games like this, because honestly, take a breather. That was an incredible game. And there's more incredible games still to come, because that was just the start of your quarter-final lineup of our Sports Core Festival of Football, because tomorrow night, Kieran L and Rowan and KL, they're back. Leipzig versus Atletico Madrid, 8 p.m. kickoff for that one. Attack versus defense. Could we have another comeback on our hands? Who knows? Barcelona and Bayern Munich. It's a clash of the Titans, that one, on Thursday night. Friday night, that should be. No, yeah, Friday night. I've lost track of time. Coronavirus. Friday night, that will be 8 o'clock. Clash of the Titans. What a great game that's going to be. Saturday night, the final quarterfinal. Manchester City take on Lyon. Of course, they shocked Juventus already, Lyon. Can they do it again against a hungry Manchester City side? Well, the best way to put it, Liverpool, they remember Istanbul. Barcelona, they remember PSG. PSG, they'll all remember this Atalanta night. Thank you very much for joining us as always. Thank you very much, KL, for joining us tonight. What's been a memorable game of football. And of course, the boys will be back tomorrow night for Leipzig Atletico Madrid. You do not want to miss out. If you do, as always, leave a like and a subscription for all of the content, all of the actions, and all of the watch-alongs. But as for now, have a great rest of your evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are, and we'll see you later. Good night.